celebrating our 10th season as your home for Major League Baseball.
70, baseball's new symbol of excellence. Last year, Mark McGwire captivated baseball fans the world over with an awesome power display. But for Big Mac, the goal is not merely 71, but rather a chance to once again play October baseball. It has been 7 years since McGwire's last postseason, and the Cards are off to a fast start. But to a man they know, that Big Mac's 70 were not enough last year. For the Dodgers, 10 years have passed since their last postseason win. 1998's disastrous year left L.A. searching for new answers. An off-season overhaul has mandated the Dodgers win now. Baseball season is young, but for two of the game's most historic franchises, the summer heat is already on. Tonight in Southern California, all roads lead to Chavez Ravine, the home of the Dodgers. It's all sold out. Big Mac is in town. The Dodgers and Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball play the rubber match of their three-game series. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, and welcome to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. We got a big treat tonight. The Cardinals off to a great start, and of course, Mark McGwire, the 70 home run man. He's got 5 so far this year in a big ball game with the Dodgers. Now, Mark McGwire, let's check in with him. Let's find out where he's at right now. My partner Joe Morgan chatted with him just before the game.
Mark, has it been difficult after hitting 70 home runs last year and starting at 0 again this year?
Doing it, no. I mean, every year you start at 0, so it doesn't matter what you did last year. But the reality of what people's expectations are unrealistic that will ever happen again. And I've been saying that time and time again. What happened last year, you might never, ever see in our lifetime, ever again. So I know I have to start from 0. It's just a matter of getting a feeling and getting a stroke.
And I'm now with my partner Joe Morgan. And Joe, Big Mac with the 5 home runs, and tonight, as he continues to struggle a little bit too, right, he faces Darren Dreifort, who's got great stuff.
Well, Dreifort has a great sinker ball, so it's going to be tough for Mike to get the ball in the air. But the other problem is he's only faced by Dreifort 1 time. And that bothers you. When you come out of spring training, he was swinging the bat well in spring training. It took a little longer to get to spring training over with, and he struggled a little bit toward the end of spring training. I think now he's still feeling the effects of that. All
right. Now, for the Cardinals tonight, Kent Bottenfield, who like Dreifort is 3-0, will go up against the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are struggling a little bit. Davey Johnson actually had, before the game yesterday, a meeting with them, telling them to not press so much.
Well, they've been pressing with runners in scoring position, John, and that's the tough part. They haven't been adjusting well with runners in scoring position. You have to realize when you get a runner in scoring position, they're going to pitch to you differently than they do with no one on base, and the Dodgers have not made those adjustments. They're really not driving in runs in clutch situations.
All right. So it's the Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals, the final game of this series, and of a long road trip for the Cardinals, and it's all sold out here at Dodger Stadium. Mark McGwire put on a show during batting practice tonight. He hit 5 balls completely out of Dodger Stadium. Big Mac coming up from L.A.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance fuel additives. And in part by 989 Sports, the makers of MLB 2000.
From Hollywood, the entertainment capital of the world. I always wanted to say that, Joe. They used to have, I don't know, it was Warner Brothers or somebody in the old days used to have all of their TV shows. They'd start that way. I've realized a childhood dream. There's Tony La Russa. His dream is to get the Cardinals back into the postseason for the World Series. They're off to a pretty good start despite some serious injuries to their starting rotation. Here's La Russa's Pepsi batting order for the Cardinals. Darren Bragg left field. Sean Dunston, the veteran, at short. Mark McGwire hits third at first. Fernando Tatis, who made Major League history here on Friday with 2 grand slams in the same inning and has 3 homers in the 2 games of the series. He's hitting cleanup. Eric Davis is in right field. J.D. Drew in center field. Eli Marrero, the catcher, hitting 7th. Joe McEwing, we're anxious to see him off to a great start, a rookie at second base. Kent Bottenfield, who is 3-0, is the Cardinal pitcher. On the mound for L.A. tonight, right-hander Darren Dreifert, and he too is 3-0.
Well, he's off to a great start, except for his bases on balls. He leads the National League in bases on balls. He received 19 bases on balls and 17 in the third inning. Has a great sinker. That's his best pitch. He also has a slider, and he's been working on a changeup. So those are the pitches he will work with. And he has a good advantage tonight, John, because right now he's in the sunshine and the home plate is in the shadows, and halfway between there it starts to get a little dark. That will help him with his sinker. And let's take a look at the defense. That way be behind Dreifert. They have been running wild when Huntley has been behind the plate. They have attempted 15 steals. They've been successful 13 times, and the 2 times that he threw runners out, they actually overslid the bag after they had made it. So his throwing has been tough. He's coming back from the problem with his elbow, and he struggles a lot.
I mean, the only 2 guys he's thrown out, they actually were there before the throw, and they overslid the bag?
Overslid the bag, you're right. So he's 2 out of 20 there, actually, and the other one's overslid the bag. But they need his bat in the lineup, and I mean, he's one of the best hitting catchers in all of baseball, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, off to a slow start there as well. The umpiring alignment tonight: Frank Pulley, the veteran umpire, back of the plate; Charlie Williams, Greg Bonet, and Jeff Nelson work the bases. So the crowd still gathering here at Dodger Stadium. It's a sellout. Last night they had their largest crowd in a long, long while, nearly 54,000. The actual paid attendance. And we may have that again tonight. Darren Dreifert, he throws real hard with great movement. And there is strike 1 call. Dreifert, in that last start that Joe was talking about, pitched 5 1/3 innings and walked 9. And yet got the win. That's just a bit low. And that's not easy to do. The last time a pitcher worked less than 6 innings and walked as many as 9 and won a game was 23 years ago. John Blue Moon Odom did it. See the numbers. Gave up 4 runs and got the win in that ball game. John Blue Moon Odom had 5 hitless innings in 1976 for the White Sox, but had walked 9 guys. So Paul Richards, the manager, took him out of the game. And Francisco Barrios came in, threw 4 more hitless innings, and it was a combined no-hitter. And it was the last time Odom ever won a game.
Well, I've watched Dreifert's career quite a while, Johnny. In 1993, he was pitching in the College World Series when I was there. And, man, did his ball move. He's had arm problems, you know, since he's been a professional, but he has a lot of movement on his fastball. Good sinking fastball, similar to Kevin Brown.
Yeah, they were comparing him a lot to Brown this spring. And the problem for Dreifert is, there's the genuine article, right? Kevin Brown himself. But the problem for Dreifert when he was a little younger was trying to harness that sinker. Had so much movement on it, it was real tough to him to throw strikes. This is Breslonic. Darren Bragg is out number 1.
And John, that's another Dodger problem, the inner defense. When you got guys like Brown and Dreifert throwing a lot of ground balls, you have to have a good infield defense. And their shortstops have had a lot of problems this year. I mean, even Vizcaino, who they had in for defense when Brown pitched the other day, he struggled. So. And the last couple of years, Breslonic has had 30 errors plus, so it's going to be difficult for the Dodgers unless they get better play from their shortstops.
Yeah, a couple of errors out there with Atlanta in town on Wednesday really cost them big time. Here is Sean Dunston. And the slider is in there for a strike. Dunston, the guy that Tony La Russa decided he wanted on this ball club, called Dunston personally just before spring training and said, why don't you come on down? And Dunston said he came here because he wants to play. And the Cardinals said, we got a lot of spots for you. Beltre. I have a feeling he wished he had not thrown that ball now, Joe.
Well, actually, the play should have been made by Dreifert. It was a routine ball back to him, and he was in good fielding position. But that's, again, what I'm talking about. The infield defense is just not as good as it should be.
Third, number 25.
Mark McGwire being introduced now. Pretty warm welcome for the enemy here at Dodger Stadium. And, man, he put on a show during batting practice again tonight. And this place just went nuts. I mean, there's just no show quite like it. Mark McGwire taking batting practice. Yeah. Hello, Big Man.
And another reason Johnny got such a great reception is he didn't play here at all last year. You know, his 70 home run season, he did not appear here at Dodger Stadium. This is his first appearance the last year and a half.
The Cardinals only came into town one time, and McGwire was hurt. Whoa. Well, that's power versus power.
But that's great location with the fastball. That fastball started middle of the plate and ran in, and that's a tough pitch.
One ball, one strike. Wow, jammed him on that one. He may have broken his bat.
That pitch is the pitch that I think is most important for a good sinker ball pitcher that throws hard. Kevin Brown makes great use of this fastball. You start it on the inside part of the plate and let it run in. Look at that. That ball really tails in, and there's not a lot you can do with it. And the first time he threw it, Mac swung and missed, but he got a piece of that one, but that definitely was in his kitchen.
1-2 to McGwire, and the bat is miraculously still all in one piece, apparently.
I was wondering about that myself.
And he comes back with the 95-mile-an-hour heat to the outside.
That's why they say he's very similar to Kevin Brown. He can throw the sinker that tails in. He can throw the straight fastball or the riding fastball.
Dunston at second. 2-2 to McGwire. Oh, the slider. That throws him. McGwire didn't think so, but he has been rung up for out number 2.
Well, the reason that McGwire didn't think so, now watch how Hundley catches this ball. This makes the umpire look bad. Now watch this. Watch where the ball is when it crosses the plate. It'll be knee high. That's a strike. Now watch how he catches it. See how Hundley caught the ball? That made it appear to be low, but the ball was above the knees when it crossed the plate. And that's just not receiving the ball very well right there, but a good call by the umpire. He stayed with it.
So McGwire called out on strikes. 2 down, and Fernando Tatis, the rare Cardinal these days who made home run history, whose name is not Mark McGwire. Tatis did something that may never be done again. He hit 2 grand slams in the same inning. It was Friday here, both of the homers against Chan Ho Park. You know, no Cardinal in the long history of the Cardinals, the franchise has been around for, what, 118 years or something to that effect. No Cardinal had ever hit any kind of a home run twice in the same inning. And now Tatis hits 2 grand slams in the same inning. Dunston at second, 2 down. Dryford misses badly down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. I mean, it's pretty astounding just to get the opportunity to hit 2 grand slams. Just coming to bat with the bases loaded twice is incredible.
That is incredible. John, you can watch Hundley's having a lot of problems receiving the ball, and I think part of it maybe has to do with the bright sunlight and then coming into the dark, but you can see why he's catching the ball. He's not catching it cleanly. He's kind of moving his glove.
Oh, nice catch, the slider.
And a lot of movement from Dryford's causing him a lot of problems back there. This is the very important pitch for him, this slider, and it doesn't have to be in the strike zone. You get ahead of some of these hitters, you'll get them to chase that pitch.
That's the Joe's talking about there, that the bright California sun and the batter standing in the shadows at home plate, which so far may have been affecting Todd Hundley as much, if not more, than the hitters. And
the best description I've heard is that, you know, it's like walking, you know, from a bright room into a dark room. It just takes you a split second to adjust. A pitch coming towards you like that. And you do not have a split second to adjust when a guy's throwing 95 miles an hour.
3-1 to Tatis. Eric Davis would be next. Dunston at second, 2 down. That one is off the top of the wall. The carom played beautifully by Sheffield, and it's a long single for Tatis, and this guy is really zoned in. Dunston scores, and Tatis is put the Cardinals at nearly hitting another home run.
John, we liked him, remember, when we first saw him in Texas, because he has a live bat. This tells you that he is a good fastball hitter, low fastball hitter. Dryford, good fastball there. That ball didn't look like it had the sink on it that the other pitches he's thrown had before, but that ball was still smoked.
Man, it's just a liner.
Yeah.
And almost left the park.
But the way the ball jumps off his bat is what's impressive. And I remember the first time I saw him when he was in Texas. I mean, the ball just jumps off his bat.
Well, that's his 21st RBI of the year already. So he has been most impressive here. Started today just 1 RBI behind Matt Williams of Arizona in the National League for the league lead. Eric Davis now. Davis, 217 average. He got a hit the other day on the left hand on a pitch by Eric Plunk. Caused him to miss a couple of games. He's got it all. There's some padding now. But he allows us how it's causing him some trouble up there. Right on top of the left hand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mark McGwire called out on strikes here in the first inning, but Fernando Tatis has been the man this weekend. 3 homers in the first 2 games, and now a near homer here.
But the success that Tatis is having bodes well for McGwire down the road, because that means that, you know, they're going to have another bat in the lineup. You're going to get Ray Langford back. I mean, he's going to have a lot more help, you know, especially power-wise this year than he had before.
You were talking about the odds of coming to bat with the bases loaded twice in an inning. I mean, they have to be astronomical. You know, another thing that came together that night, Tatis was only hitting 4th because Eric Davis was hurt. There goes Tatis. A foul ball back to the screen. Still 1-2 to Eric Davis. And you would think that you see everybody trying to run to the Dodgers right now, with Hundley having a hard time throwing out anybody.
Down back to the Tatis situation. I mean, you have to think how difficult it is to hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning, but he also got to face the same pitcher. So you hit a grand slam, they go all the way around again, you face the same pitcher again. Chan-Ho Park was in there for both of those home runs.
Chan-Ho saying, yeah, Joe, you had to remind everybody. Foul ball.
And usually if you hit a grand slam early in an inning and they bat all the way around again, the pitcher's usually gone.
Well, you know, the reason he got a chance with the bases loaded the next time in the same inning, Mark McGwire was up with the bases loaded and hit a pop fly that was too shallow to get anybody home.
So everything had to work well.
A lot of things had to work. 1-2 the count. There goes Tatis. Davis hits it foul off the left field line. I didn't know Mark McGwire was capable of hitting a fly ball that shallow. You know, the next time up, an inning or 2 later, McGwire was up with 2 men on and 2 men out. The count went to 2 balls and a strike. And La Russa said he's thinking, wow, Big Mac's going to walk. He's going to come up with the bases juiced again.
Yeah.
And then they got McGwire.
That would have been something.
And the inning ended. That one is hit a long way to left field. And way up into the stands out there. Eric Davis with a 2-run big fly. His first home run as a Cardinal. 3-0 St. Louis.
Well, we already knew that Eric Davis could hit the low fastball. He's a better low ball hitter than he is a high ball hitter. This ball looks like it's a fastball that starts inside part of the plate, and they wanted it to sink in, and it looked like it stayed there.
Center fielder, J.D. Drew.
Let's take a look at that pitch. See, it doesn't move. You can see it spinning, actually, which is his sinker, but it just didn't move. It stayed right there, and he put a charge into it. So you've got 2 good low ball hitters matched up against Dryford, and they're the ones that have had the success so far in this first inning.
So 3 runs in. Here is J.D. Drew. Got to play. Well, you know, Joe, it really goes back to Sean Dunston hitting a comebacker. Dryford's inability to handle it and turn it into the second out. He might have been out of this inning 3 up and 3 down.
You're right. And we've said it over and over again, but I think defense is far more important today than it's ever been. Because anytime you give some of these teams an extra out, they seem to take advantage of it. And there's so many runs being scored that you can open the floodgates by just making 1 mistake in an inning.
Drew, this one to center field. But the Cardinals put 3 on the board for Kent Bottenfield, who will take them on. We'll be right back. Sunday Night Baseball from L.A. That's Dodger Stadium. Sold out tonight for this ball game. The Cardinals have jumped ahead of the Dodgers 3-0, much to the chagrin of that man, Davey Johnson. Cardinals leading his ball club by 3 before the Dodgers ever come to bat. And of course, he's been concerned that his big hitters have been trying to do a little too much, trying a little too hard to produce. Here's the Pepsi starting lineup for the Dodgers. Eric Young at second, Mark Bresolonic at short. Eric Young, of course, has been doing a great job at the top of the order. Gary Sheffield hits third and left, Mondesi in right, Karras at first, White the center fielder, Beltre at third hitting seventh, Hundley the catcher, and Darren Dreifert is the pitcher hitting ninth. And on the mound for the Cardinals, longtime reliever, turn starter, Ken Bottenfield is 3-0.
Well, John, the reason that he's 3-0 is that he's really moving his fastball around the strike zone very well. He's got a good curve, change-up, slider. He throws all the pitches. You can see that he's walked a few too, one every 2 innings, 8 and 18 and a third. But he's also struck out 17, but he also leads the league in earned run average with that 0.98.
Ken Bottenfield, he only became a starter last year because the Cardinals' starting rotation was so beaten up with injuries. Bottenfield volunteered to go out there, and he found out that he really likes it and has done well, particularly at the start of this year. Eric Young doing a great job as the leadoff man for the Dodgers and doing a lot of running with 15 stolen bases. And he has reached base leading off the first inning 12 times out of the 17 games he's played. And then usually when he reaches base in that first inning, he goes right out and tries to steal a base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last night he led off in a novel fashion. He just went ahead and said, the heck with stealing bases. He hit a home run.
That was the 10th time he's done that, John, which is amazing. I mean, you never think of Eric Young like that. Ricky Henderson, of course, hits a lot of leadoff home runs, but you don't think of Eric Young in that manner.
Nice pitch by Bottenfield. So Eric Young does not get on base in the first this time.
Well, the second strike and this third strike were right out there on the edge. I mean, right out there on the edge. And he had Eric Young fooled completely. Bottenfield says that the real reason that he's pitching much better now than before is the mental maturity that he's had. He said his stuff hasn't gotten any better, but he understands how to pitch. His preparation is much better, and he's been able to control the ball much better this year.
Mark Bresolonic, too far in, 1 ball, no strikes. The power comes up after Bresolonic. Former Expo, they'd like to see him come back and do for them what he did for the Expos 2 years ago. And they have not seen that Mark Bresolonic yet.
Well, he and Mike Lansing were, I mean, a very good combination there in Montreal. Shortstop and second base, very good combination.
2-1 the count. He had 54 doubles 2 years ago for the Expos. Stole 25 bases. And you see that, I mean, those 2 years in Montreal, that was his average year. Runs well, hits, and gets the base hit right there. Now the power's coming up.
And let's take a quick look at the defense for the Cardinals.
Left fielder, Gary.
And Fernando Tatis at third base. Not only does he have a good bat, he's got a good glove and lots of range there at third base.
There's Fernando Tatis.
And they got him in the trade that sent Todd Stottlemyre to the Rangers. Rangers were trying to win the pennant last year and get into the World Series, and they figured they needed one more pitcher, and they traded Tatis for Stottlemyre. They may live to regret that.
They're also getting Royce Clayton involved in that
well,
deal.
Royce, but they still have Royce. So Royce can help them. But Stottlemyre is now gone to Colorado. He's doing a good job there.
Arizona. One of those Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, I should get them mixed up anyway. That time zone.
Yeah, I mean, Denver and Phoenix, a lot of people get those two cities confused.
One is very warm, the other gets cold.
Gary Sheffield, 258 average. Wow, almost. And he did. He picked him off. Bresolonic, down by 3 runs, gets picked off. Charlie Wade, I thought he was staying safe, and then he called him out.
I was wondering what took so long for the call, but he definitely called him out there. And watch, he's starting to move off. That's the problem. You can't be moving off. He hits him. Mark McGwire makes a good tag right on the right hand.
2 down, nobody on. Sheffield takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And watch his right hand. You'll see him hit his right hand right there in the air before he gets back to the bag.
That's bad.
Very bad. When you're down 3 runs and you have one of your power hitters up with another one to follow.
2-1 the count to Sheffield. Mondesi would be next. Just a bit low. And it goes to 3-1. Well, if you get Sheffield here, you've taken the bat out of Mondesi's hands. And you certainly have kept Sheffield away from doing maximum damage.
He would also get a good pitch for Sheffield here if he was on first base.
Broken bat. And that is McEwing. So the Dodgers have a bad first inning all the way around. They're trailing 3-0. McEwing, by the way, coming up second. We're in Southern California. This is Malibu. Yeah.
It's where McGwire lives.
Little drive from there up to Dodger Stadium, where we are tonight with Big Mac. Eli Marrero against Darren Dreifert, called a strike on the outside. Marrero, the young Cardinal catcher, and he's off to a fine start both with the bat and behind the plate. Cardinals have been the toughest team in baseball to steal against this year. 0-2 the count. Last night the Dodgers executed a double steal, so 2 steals on 1 play. And that brings the grand total of steals allowed by the Cardinals this year to 3. 1-2. Joe McEwing, the 3rd leading hitter in the league, is on deck. Cardinals are moving in some young talent this year. Tatis, Marrero, McEwing. Did he swing? No, says Charlie Williams. Slider taken for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Eli Marrero. There's McEwing. I mean, talk about a guy coming from out of nowhere, and they love him. 2-2 pitch. Gresolonic. And there is 1 away. We've got a sellout here at Dodger Stadium tonight. Included amongst the spectators is that man, a familiar face. Dennis Franz from NYPD Blue. Officer Andy Sipowicz and Mrs. Franz with him. Now, Joe, I was told that he met you before the game and said to you, said, that's why I'm out here. I wanted to meet you.
Yeah, they're telling me he came out to meet McGwire. He told me he came out to meet me.
Yeah. But that afterward, we were all being told that he told McGwire he came out to meet him.
Yeah. That's what you can't trust those actors. You know, they're playing a part on TV. But actually, he seems like a very nice guy. I was impressed.
Yeah. I saw you were smiling pretty broadly when he said that he came out here just to meet you.
And he also said he's a Cubs fan.
I think he's from Chicago.
Yeah, he's from Chicago, and he's a Cubs fan.
1 ball, 1 strike. You know, I saw him in a movie called City of Angels. I mean, I'm bringing this up because here we are in the City of Angels. And he played a former Angel. Oh. Left center. That's a base hit for Joe McEwing. McEwing, who came in hitting .396, and it's going up.
Pitcher.
Tonight, our aerial views high above Chavez Ravine and the city of Los Angeles, courtesy of the Gum Out aerial cam. Glad to have them with us again this week. Dodger Stadium. There was actually talk, Joe, about maybe the Dodgers moving to a different ballpark entirely.
Yeah, I've heard those rumors.
Still a jewel of a ballpark here in Chavez Ravine. The Dodgers built the ballpark themselves. The land that was given to them. The bunt by Bottenfield, and Dreifert will go to first. Thought about second. And thought better of it. So the sacrifice is successful for Ken Bottenfield, and we'll go to the top of the order. Darren Bragg will try and bring McEwing home.
Well, we have to remember, John, last year the pitcher was hitting 8th in this Cardinals lineup instead of 9th. And that was an experiment that Tony tried a lot last year, and with mixed reviews, I might add. I didn't quite understand it, but he explained what he was trying to do, and it made sense to him. Still doesn't to me, but it made sense to him. And since he's the manager, that's the only one that counted.
Joe hated it. Let me just tell you, folks. Here's Darren Bragg. 1 ball and no strikes. No, he just didn't quite understand it.
Right, didn't understand it.
And still doesn't.
No, but I was reading some statistics, you know, that they compile when he had pitcher hitting 8th and when he was hitting 9th. It did not really work out the way that he anticipated, getting more RBI situations for McGuire in the top of the order. But they actually scored 5.01 runs, 5.01 runs with the pitcher batting in the normal position, and 5 runs even when he hit 8. So not a lot of difference, you know. It wasn't a big difference there.
2-0 the count, and 2 balls, 2 strikes in that foul ball.
But McGuire drove in more runs with the hitter hitting 9th percentage-wise than he did with him hitting 8th.
Well, it's interesting that
didn't work out.
You're
like
such
that.
a stats freak.
No. You know better than that.
You're always bringing up those stats.
Only to support the theory that I had before.
As Vin Scully once said, statistics are to a baseball game as a lamppost is to a drunk. They offer support,
right,
although not necessarily illumination.
Okay.
2-2 the count to Darren Bragg.
If Vinny said that, I'll take it as a compliment.
All right.
All right.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Darren Bragg. He grounded to short his first time. Sean Dunston would be next. The Cardinals already leading in this game 3-0. Bragg, formerly with the Boston Red Sox, is kind of a favorite there at Fenway Park. He was sort of a different kind of a Red Sox outfielder. Red Sox had a history of having all these outfielders who hit 30, 40 home runs. That was not Bragg's style, but he really helped solidify their defense, and they liked his style on offense. I mean, he's one of those guys, whatever it takes at that moment is what he's going to try to do. Moving a runner up, getting a runner home from scoring position. Broken bat. Resolonik. That's the inning. 1 man left for the Cardinals. And Raul Mondesi will be coming up for L.A. Then Eric Karras and Devon White. 3-0, St. Louis.
Bill Pito in the studio as Gumout takes us to Tampa Bay for the Mariners and the Devil Rays. Jose Canseco, his 10th home run of the year. The 407th of his career, ties him with Duke Snider for 27th all-time. Canseco, the 9th player in AL history to hit 10 or more home runs in April. But Seattle on the home run from Jay Buhner in the 9th, 2-run shot, beats Tampa Bay 6-4.
Thanks, Bill. Here in L.A., 3-0. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers, last of the second. More sluggers coming up for the Dodgers now. Here is Raul Mondesi. Mondesi, Karras, and White. Mondesi hitting .250, but with 6 home runs. Takes a strike, a fastball from Bottenfield. Now, Mondesi has 15 walks already this year, Joe.
Right.
That's already halfway to his full season's total of a year ago.
Well, maybe he's listening to what you and Sheffield said he should do. Be a little more patient at the plate.
I'm not saying it.
Yeah.
Good eye there, Raul. Wait for your pitch, buddy. No, Sheffield said that, and you see the difference in walks already. I mean, they've only played 18 games. He's got 15 walks. Out into right center. Battling the sun out there, Eric Davis. He's got real tough sun field right now. Mondesi is gone, but Sheffield had said if he was a little more patient at the plate and you know, worked the count a little bit more, he could do everything that Sosa's doing, and maybe more than that.
Well, there's no doubt he has a great amount of ability, but I think the thing that makes him a good hitter, in my opinion, is he is aggressive. He attacks the baseball, and if you start being a little more patient, waiting back a little bit longer, you lose that aggressiveness. I'm not sure he would be as good a hitter as he is now. I like the way he attacks the ball.
Ball 1 to Karras. This coming from a guy who walks 6,000
yeah,
times.
but I couldn't hit 50 home runs. He can do that if he attacks the ball. I think there's different styles. I mean, I think his style is he is aggressive, and he goes after the ball. But when he commits, I mean, he goes after it, and that's one of the problems I think with a lot of hitters have today. They will not commit to a pitch. They see it, and they just do not just commit to hitting that ball hard someplace.
Yeah, but if he had a few more 2-0 and 3-1 counts, wouldn't he get maybe some fatter pitches than he's getting now?
Well, you would think so, but it doesn't always work that way.
Center field off the bat of Karras, and caught by J.D. Drew. And he looked to be battling the elements out there as well. The elements right now, the shadows around home plate, the bright, low-lying sun in the outfield. 2 down.
But I definitely think a guy should be patient to a point. I mean, just do not swing a lot of bad pitches. But I just do not like to see a guy that's an aggressive hitter go into a mode where he loses his aggressiveness. I mean, Sheffield's very aggressive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a little more patient.
I mean, but he walks 100 times.
Yeah, but he's aggressive.
Devon White, who leads the Dodgers in RBIs right now. 290 average, 3 homers, 14 driven in. Dodgers are down 3-0 in the second inning. 2 down, nobody on. Over at third base, Tatis very shallow. That one misses on the outside. 2-0. You see Tatis how close he is.
And you can see that shadow has moved out past the pitcher's mound. That's a little better for the hitter.
Down the left field line, foul, and the count 2-1. Eli Marrero has very kindly said that he would wear mask can tonight. There's a look from it.
Well, it took me a long time to find the baseball there. I didn't know how long it took you, but I didn't see that pitch until it was halfway there. And that's what happens sometimes when you're in the batter's box.
There was a baseball in that shot?
Yeah, see, I mean, it's difficult. I've actually played here at Dodger Stadium at this time of day, and it's very difficult to see the ball.
3-1 the count. And back out of play. 3-2 now to Devon White. Adrian Beltre would be next.
A lot of the problems when you're facing guys like Koufax, too, that made it a little tougher to see as well.
But you always blamed it not on Koufax's
No.
stuff, but on the shadows. I remember that. Well, that was ball 4. White did not often take walks. 3-2 the count. But, you know, going back to this Mondesi thing, aggressiveness versus patience, one of the things that Sammy Sosa consciously tried to do last year was to be a little more patient, to try to work the count a little more in his favor, and also not to try to pull everything.
Well, I think that was the key to Sosa. He moved off the plate, and he could see the ball better.
This is McEwing, and White is gone. So Bottenfield carrying a 3-0 lead. Mark McGwire will be coming up second when we return. Stay with us.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and Antiperspirant. Powerful protection for men. We now return to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Gumout, with John Miller and Joe Morgan.
Thank you. 3-0 Cardinals. Leading the Dodgers as we go to the third. Sean Dunston leads it off against Darren Dreifert. Mark McGwire on deck. Strike one from Darren Dreifert. Now, the 3-run rally started when Dunston hit a sharp one-hopper back at Dreifert that could have been a comebacker for an out. But he didn't handle it. Dunston reached. Then they got 3 runs in that inning.
Well, the one thing that Dreifert does, John, is he's in good fielding position once he releases the ball. Now watch Dreifert. He's in good fielding position once he releases the ball. He doesn't fall off to the side. See, he's right there. Ball right back to him. He just didn't open his glove wide enough. And the ball is thrown down the line, and they end up with 3 runs in the first inning. Yeah. Which could have been a 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, and all 3 of those runs scored after 2 were down.
Right.
So that was a big play. Well, here's the big slugger, Mark McGwire. Slider. 0-1.
Well, he struck Mark out with a slider the first inning, but he used the fastball to set that slider up. He starts with the slider this time. Maybe he's going to go just the opposite and get him and try to get him out with the fastball.
Up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When you have a hitter like McGwire, you get him out one way. The next time up, he thinks that you may try it again. So a lot of times you have to change. See, there's featuring the fastball now after the first pitch slider.
2-1. McGwire has played 15 games this year and has walked 16 times already. it's 3-1. Of course, that's about the same pace he was on for walks last year.
Right. And we'll just see how he challenges him here, see what happens here.
3-1 the count. Wow. That one has hit a mile foul down the right field line.
Well, you have to give Dryford credit. He went right after him.
3-2.
Let's take a look at the first inning when McGuire was called out on strikes. We saw Hundley catch the ball low. Now watch where this ball actually crosses the plate. It'll be above the knees. As you can see right there, it was above the knees.
Yeah, it was. McGuire didn't like the call. But that was a good shot of where it was. Good call by Frank Pulley. McGuire does get a walk this time. Frank Pulley, been around a long, long time. The top veteran umpires in the National League. Back at the plate tonight. And we talked about Hundley battling the shadows and the bright sun. The hitters having to cope with it. Frank Pulley's having to cope with it too.
Yeah, but I think it's a little easier for the umpire. He doesn't have to catch it. He doesn't have to hit it. All he has to do is watch it. But it is difficult.
Fernando Tatis. This guy is just zoned in right now. 2 grand slams in the same inning Friday. Another home run yesterday. In fact, before they ever got to the Dodger Stadium for this weekend, he hit a home run in his previous game. 4 homers the last 3 games, and he almost homered his first at bat tonight. Beltre gets him at first base as McGuire moves up.
I tell you what, that was a very good pitch there from Dryford. That ball had good rotation on it and sunk. Sinking down and in, and he hit over the top of it. We talked about the fact he's a low ball hitter, but there was no way he could get that one in the air. Now watch this pitch. Watch how it starts up. See the target's up. Now watch where it goes. Look at that. Sinks right down, and it's so fast that you do not have time to drop down and get under it on that particular pitch. He just hits the top of it. That was an excellent pitch there from Dryford.
That's the kind of stuff that makes you think of Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
Eric Davis, he slammed a home run. 2-run shot to left field his first time. A little more up and in with that one.
Well, you see the difference. They're going to try to keep the ball up if they can on Eric Davis, but Dryford's best pitch is down. You're just going to have to end up matching your power or your best pitch against Eric Davis, who's a good low ball hitter.
Davis' first home run of the year. Got McGuire at second. Again and away, and now it is 2-0. A left-handed hitter is on deck, J.D. Drew.
See, that's what happens when you're a sinker ball pitcher like Dryford. You try to throw the ball up to stay away from Davis's power. You end up falling behind. Now what do? With J.D. Drew on deck, I think you're going to have to go after him with a fastball and just try to, get some good movement on it.
Well, he went low, and Davis has another base hit. Mondesi's got one of the best arms in the game. But it's offline, and it also allows Davis to go to second. McGuire scores to make it 4-0 St. Louis.
That was you have to give Davis a lot of credit. That was good hitting. He took that fastball and shot it the other way. But again, I think the buildup was because he missed with the 2 high fastballs. Now he's got to come down with it. When he comes down with it, it's a pretty good pitch. Actually, it's down and away. But Davis, being a good low ball hitter, just takes it the other way. And you could watch Mondesi's release there as you see McGuire scoring here. But Mondesi didn't get on top of the ball. He threw it more 3/4. That's why that ball sailed up the line.
So McGuire scores the run as J.D. Drew comes up, and also that throw enabled Eric Davis to move over into scoring position.
I think McGuire's underrated. His base running speed is underrated. I mean, he's not real fast, but he got a great jump on the swing, and he cut the bases short.
The right side, Karras, Dryford covering.
Oh, he dropped the ball. And Davis is going to head home, and Davis will score.
Well, again, Joe, we're seeing Dryford having a problem putting the squeeze in that ball.
Yeah, that was Dryford's fault. He dropped the ball, but I like to think that Eric Young should have fielded that ball. As soon as the ball's hit, say, I got it, so that Karras doesn't have to come over and take it and then make a throw back behind him to Dryford. I mean, you practice this in spring training, and again, watch where the ball is. See, I think Young could have made that play easily, and it's easier for Young to throw the ball to either Dryford or to Carrolls than it is for Carrolls, who is running the other way. You could see him look up to try to find the ball, and J.D. Drew collides with him, and he's grabbing his left hand. The throw is there, but he's trying to catch the ball and find the bag at the same time, and it doesn't work. Now watch right here. See, that's a routine play, ground ball to second base, so you have to call him off. And when he misses it, they collide, and you see Drew grab, you know, with his left hand, he's hurt his left hand.
Well, the trainer's out there to ascertain if J.D. Drew's okay. Tell you what, Dryford himself is lucky he did not get badly hurt in that play, because he was definitely in harm's way. Went after the ball instead of getting out of the way, with Drew coming up the line. Drew's going to stay in as a runner anyway.
Number 26, Eli Barrera.
Take one more look, and let's watch Drew's left hand. That's the one that he was shaking. Well, it looks like he jams it against his left side. There goes Drew.
Drew running on the first pitch. Ball is popped up foul back out of play by Eli Marrero. 5-0. St. Louis leading in the third inning. Cardinals have scored all 5 of their runs in innings after they've had 2 men out. 3 in the first, 2 more here in the third. That, by the way, is an error charged to Darren Dryford all the way. No RBI for Drew. There goes Drew. That one is hit well to left field. Sheffield back off the top of the wall again. Drew will be held at third, and into second base is Marrero.
Good job there by Sheffield. He played that ball perfectly off the wall, and he hit the cutoff man, Grzelcyk. And if Drew would have tried to score, they would have had an easy play at the plate.
Second baseman.
Marrero has been swinging the bat really well, but see, that ball is inside and down again. And he rips this ball, but watch Sheffield. He makes a great play, knows he can't get there, so he stops. Now he plays it off the wall, one hop, fires it back in. Look how accurately he is. He throws it right to Grzelcyk, and they definitely would have had J.D. Drew at the plate. So good relay there by Sheffield.
Now Charlie Huff goes to the mound to talk to his young protege. Darren Dryford is getting beat up right now. And really, he has hurt himself considerably by his inability to grab a comebacker from Dunston in the first, and then to handle the throw from Karras here in the third. Bullpen activity for the Dodgers as Huff comes back to the dugout. There is Jamie Arnold, a right-hander. Now they're going to walk Joe McEwing intentionally with the pitcher coming up, and I think it's a good strategy when you figure this guy's hit .407 for the year.
And he already has 1 base hit in this game, and it makes sense. You'd rather pitch to the pitcher. You can't afford to fall much farther behind. You're already down 5-0.
I know he's just a rookie, Joe, but I think McEwing would love it if he said he has 1 base knock.
Oh, 1 base knock.
There you go. All right. I mean, he's playing second base. He's hitting .407, and to know
hey, only Roger Hornsby. He's in Roger Hornsby territory.
Yeah, if he can do that for just another 146 games. So the bases are loaded for Kent Bottenfield, the pitcher. He had a sacrifice bunt his first time. He has 1 hit for 8 at-bats this year. The Cardinals threatening to just destroy the Dodgers early on, which they did here on Friday. I mean, they had 11 runs in the third inning against John Ho Park on Friday. There's Drew at third, Marrero at second, McEwing at first. That's 3 young players. Those are 3 young players who have enormous talent. A strike. Yeah, that's 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, McEwing's a guy came out of nowhere. 28th round draft choice. He was in Double-A ball at this time last season. and not playing, sitting on the bench in Double-A.
Second baseman can do that, though. They can, you know, sit for a while and then just take over.
Name one.
McEwen.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bottenfield. Bottenfield has put the ball in play in all but one of his at-bats this year. And Dreifert made sure he put the squeeze on that one. But 2 more runs for the Cardinals. They lead 5-0 early on here at Dodger Stadium. Sunday Night Baseball from L.A. The Cardinals 5, the Dodgers nothing. Cardinals have achieved this at great price. Mark McGwire's left the game. Sean Dunston moving over to first base now from shortstop. Darren Bragg has moved from left field over to center field as Kent Bottenfield goes to work against Adrian Beltre. Beltre first ball swinging shallow right. Eric Davis calls off McEwen. Did a basket catch on that one. And there is one away. Edgar Renteria has come on to play short with Dunston moving to first. Renteria in there, and Willie McGee has gone into play left field with Bragg moving over to center. So Drew is gone and McGuire is gone. And this is McGuire scoring that run in the 3rd inning. Remember, he had a hamstring that caused him to miss a game earlier this week.
Well, what happens, John, when you have a, pulled hamstring, it gets tired when you have to run that far, and that's what happened.
Todd Hundley up. Strike 1.
That doesn't mean he re-injured it. It just means that he got tired, and they probably just take him out for precaution.
Well, the report from the clubhouse is that he has tightness in his left hamstring.
And it does tighten. I mean, it gets tired more than anything else when you've got a weakness there and you have to run from second base very quickly, to the plate to score. It shows up. It just tightens up a little bit because it's weak.
Todd Hundley's got a couple of home runs, but hitting only 170. Check swing foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I mean, he's had a hard time throwing on base stealers after the surgery on his arm last year. That, of course, was a big question for him this year. And now also struggling with the bat.
When you have an injury, John, I mean, it's tough enough to hit major league pitching when you're healthy, but when you have an injury to your arm or your hands, it's doubly difficult.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So it goes for Hundley right now. The NHL playoffs are underway tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN2. First round action, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Flyers on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. That series tied at 1. And ESPN2 at the same time, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins tied at 1. And then at ESPN2 tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern, the Colorado Avalanche and the San Jose Sharks. Colorado leading that series 1-0. Strike 1 to Darren Dreifert. The Cardinals have gotten to 2 Dodgers starters early in this series. 11 runs in the 3rd against Park on Friday and 5 in the first 3 innings against Dreifert tonight. Dreifert used to be a pretty good hitter.
Yeah, in college, he's a very good hitter. That was with that aluminum bat.
The 26 home runs in his career at Wichita State. Caught by Eric Davis, battling that sun. He's looking right into it. We're going to the 4th inning now. It is 5-0, St. Louis. Sunday Night Baseball. The St. Louis Cardinals 5, the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing as we start the 4th inning. Top of the order for St. Louis. Darren Bragg leads it off. There's Mike Easler. The hitman is the hitting coach for the Cardinals now. Ball 1 to Bragg, who bluffed the bunt. The hitman, Mike Easler. And he is also wearing a microphone for the game tonight, enabling us to eavesdrop at times. And he had some suggestions for Darren Bragg on how to approach his at-bat here with Darren Dreifert. Let you listen in as well here shortly. 1 ball, 1 strike to Darren Bragg. That is foul. Well, here's what Easler told Bragg.
Hit what you see. Just try to pick his release point up. That's the most important thing. Stick with stick with something on his body and then just get that release point. Remember we talked today about seeing the ball out my hand? That's all.
Sounds simple, huh? That's all.
No, it was that simple. The release point.
Well, what he's basically talking about is you don't watch the pitcher with the ball in his hand, winding up, dropping it behind him. You pick a spot. Normally, you would pick like his right shoulder and just watch that spot because the ball will come out of there. Watch, it comes out of his right shoulder right there. And everybody has different things. I talked to Tony Gwynn once. Tony says he sits there when the pitcher's winding up. He looks at his bill of his cap, and then he drops over to the right shoulder. You do not want to concentrate on that point, but you want to. Your eyes will go to that point when he gets ready to release the ball.
Ooh, off the foot. 2-2 the count.
And, you know, when you're talking about a release point, I'm going to try to show you exactly what we're talking about. Watch, your shoulder's hidden. Now you find his right shoulder as he comes around right there, and you just, your hand, if you were concentrating on his shoulder, that's what you concentrate on, then your eyes automatically focus on the ball. You just can't watch the ball for the entire time that he has it in his hand.
Struck him out. Tough pitch there.
Well, I told Easler it wasn't that easy, the way he described it, but he had a couple of pitches to hit, and then he fouled them off. This is that changeup we talked about. He hasn't thrown very many changeups, but you can see he gets bragged way out in front, and that's why it's difficult. He hasn't thrown many changeups. Now he comes with the changeup, and you're way out in front because basically you're looking fastball slider off of this guy because that's what he's thrown for the first 3 innings.
Sean Dunston. Dunston takes a strike into the 0-1. Well, I remember Mike Easler was the hitting instructor for the Red Sox.
Right.
Mo Vaughn really just swore by Easler's instruction. The right field, Mondesi battling the side. And that is out number 2. But Easler used to have a phrase from Mo that Mo always remembered. See it, read it, and explode.
Well, that's that explosion I was talking about with Mondesi. He recognizes the ball, and then he really attacks the ball. And I think that's the philosophy you have to have if you're going to be a hitter that drives the ball.
Sunday Night Baseball is at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. A sellout crowd, but the hometown 9 is trailing 5-0 to the traveling Cardinals. ESPN was at St. Louis for opening night this year. They played the Brewers. You know, they were home that first week, and they've not been home since. This is their 4th stop on this road trip. They played 12 games on the trip. Willie McGee in place of McGuire in the 3rd spot, down the left field line. And we've seen McGee do that over 2,000 times, Joe.
Yeah, they used to say about Smokey Burgess, he could get up in the dead of winter and hit a line drive. Well, that's Willie McGee as well. I mean, he can hit a line drive anytime.
Fernando Tatis coming up now. This is what happened Friday. Came up with the bases loaded the first time, and he knew that was gone. 450 feet, they estimated the distance. That's, I mean, to the back of the bullpen. Then later in the same inning, got a hanging slider. He wasn't so sure about this one. And at that point, history. His 2nd grand slam in the same inning. You know, in the whole history of the National League, a guy had hit 2 grand slams in the same game only one time. Tatis did it in the same inning. Tatis, who's singled off the left field wall his first time up tonight, driving home a run, is 1 for 2. You know, I was telling Tony La Russa that he had gotten a statistic that was interesting about Tatis with 8 RBIs in 1 inning. Tony La Russa played 132 games in his entire Major League career. And Tatis drove in more runs in the 3rd inning here Friday than La Russa drove in his whole career.
Well, I'm going to tell him that you brought that up on the air. He asked you not to bring that up.
He begged me not to use it. He said, John, my dad is watching tonight.
He asked you not to do it. You turned on it.
Our job, Joe, is just to tell the story.
Tell it like it is.
Sometimes the facts are cruel and hard.
And Willie McGee, that was his 2,193rd base hit of his Major League career. I mean, he's been around a while, but I mean, at one time, I mean, he led the league in hitting a couple of times, actually. He led.
That one gets away from Huntley. McGee will stop at second.
Johnny led the league in hitting one time when he was in the American League. He had such a big lead they couldn't catch him in the National League. Two batting championships. He's been an MVP and one of the really nice guys in baseball.
Whatever.
I guess our microphone out there some places picking up the conversation. Those two guys are both from the Bay Area, Eric Young and Willie McGee.
Eric Young checks on everybody when they get over to second base. How you doing? How's the family? Looking pretty good up there. What's that? You got 3,000 hit yet? What's taking you so long? Eric Young, very sociable out there. He might have been asking Willie. He said, wasn't it 1985 you won the MVP in the National League? Indeed, he did. In '85, Willie McGee hit .353. Won the MVP. And that's ball 4 to Tatis.
I remember the great catch he made in Milwaukee County Stadium. A couple of them in the game to rob guys of potential home runs.
Number 24.
1982 World Series. That's really when he burst upon the scene. It was his rookie season.
Came from the Yankees. I remember that. They traded him, brought him over from the Yankees to the Cardinals.
George Steinbrenner got a lot of flack for that. They said, always losing your young guys, and they become stars with other teams. Yankees stopped doing that, though, in these last few years. Yankees acquired, though, Bob Sykes for Willie McGee. That's what they got a lot of flack for.
I remember that.
Bob never won any Cy Young awards. 1 strike to count to Eric Davis. He's having a big night tonight here in his hometown against a team for which he once played. Davis has hit a 2-run homer and has also had an RBI single to right. He's batting with 2 down here, and all of his RBIs tonight have come with 2 down. Dodger bullpen busy again. 1-1 to Davis.
You can see that he goes at it again. He's trying to make a conscious effort to keep the fastball up when he can and try to stay ahead and get Eric to chase something up and out of the strike zone.
Jamie Arnold up in the bullpen. It's been a long night already for Dryford. Only in the 4th inning, he's thrown 86 pitches now. 1-2 to Davis.
That was another low fastball that he fouled off. Take a look at the home run he hit in the 1st inning on bat track. Now, he's a good low fastball hitter. That means he's got to have a little uppercut in his swing. And you can see right there, right at contact, the bat's on the upswing, and that's exactly why he's a good low fastball hitter. And that's why most left-handers are good low fastball hitters. They have just a little uppercut in their swing.
Slider in the dirt. And the runners break. The throw down to second base. Got it. So, a good decision by Huntley, and Tatis thrown out at second base. The lead runner, McGee, was easily going to make it to 3rd. 5-0 Cardinals. We'll be back. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gumout. The Cardinals 5, the Dodgers 0. Still early in the ball game, though. Dodgers have plenty of time to try and play catch-up. As Eric Young leads it off, then Mark Rezolonic, Gary Sheffield. It's the top of the batting order against Kent Bottenfield.
And the Dodgers have power, so they can't come back from a 5-0 deficit.
Hanging and caught in left by McGee. Wow. 1 away.
Todd Hundley made an excellent play to end the inning and get him out of trouble. Now watch this play. McGee is going to make it to 3rd base very easily. We're going to stop it when he gets close. But Hundley makes the play by never looking at 3rd. He immediately comes up and just fires to second base. He never looked. Now look where McGee is. He's already there. See all it, and that's why he's able to get Tatis at second base. He never looked at 3rd base, and he comes up and fires. And they say there's nothing wrong with his arm. They say his mechanics are messed up from the injury and not playing much, and that's why he's not throwing out base stealers. He showed a pretty good arm right there. I mean, his arm strength was there on that throw to second base.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those stats can be very misleading. It's Grzelcyk swings. Drives one deep into center. Bragg still going back, and that ball is gone. A home run for Mark Grzelcyk, his 2nd of the year. That ball just wouldn't come down.
up for getting picked off his first time up, and that's, you can see that pitch. He put a charge into it. This ball actually hits off of the concrete over there. Actually, no, maybe it hit on top of the wall.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Bragg goes back, and it definitely hits on top of the wall and bounces in Grzelonic's favor.
Gary Sheffield now takes a strike. Almost in on top of Jackie Robinson's hat out there. The Dodgers outfield wall. They have a new design out there this year. Big tribute to Dodger greats through the many years of Dodger baseball. And there are a lot of greats out there, too.
You're right. That is a great idea. I mean, in the history of the Dodgers right there on their outfield wall.
Campanella, Don Drysdale. Out of play by Sheffield. 1-2 the count. Steve Garvey's up out there. Pee Wee Reese. Ron Say, Kirk Gibson.
And they also have a patch on their shoulder honoring their heroes of the past. The Dodgers are wearing a patch on their left shoulder, and they get to pick the guy that they want.
It's too low to Sheffield.
There are 18 choices for them to choose from. It's Dodger heroes, and they wear the patch, for them. And the most popular one is Jackie Robinson and Manny Mota. That's Jackie Robinson patch there, 42, being worn by Gary Sheffield.
So Jackie Robinson's the most popular one among the current players. Who was the next one?
Manny Mota, first base. He's been here for a long time too. He was the first base coach, but now he's just one of their coaches. There's Manny Mota, Manuel Mota, great pinch hitter.
Just great hitter all the way around, and became one of the great pinch hitters in the history of the game. Right to the shortstop. And Edgar Renteria, a little bit of a wide throw, but Dunston was able to keep the foot in the bag. Dunston, he plays everywhere now.
Everywhere.
Now Raul Mondesi will come up.
I was talking to Tony La Russa before the game, and he said Renteria was upset because he wasn't starting. He said he feels good, but he wants to play.
Renteria, as you get the panoramic look at Dodger Stadium, what a ballpark. Raul Mondesi, right out to right center his first time. He's walked 15 times, as we mentioned, his first time up. Last year, now here we are in late April, the 19th game of the year. Last year he got his 16th walk, August the 12th. He may get that 16th walk a little bit sooner this year.
There was overlooked is that Bottenfield had, retired the first 10 Dodgers that he faced before the home run by Grzelonic. And he's doing it with good control, moving the ball around and changing speeds.
Well, if we have our Cy Young ballot right now, he's the #1 choice.
Well, you're right. His earned run average starting the game was 0.98.
This is a team supposed to be in trouble. Matt Morris, their ace, out for the year, had surgery. Alan Bennis missed all of last year. He may not be back until August if he's able to get back then. Those are supposed to be their 2 top pitchers. And Bottenfield is supposed to be an emergency replacement. But Cardinals are atop their division, and Bottenfield is one of the big reasons why. 2-1 the count. We're talking about that rotation. And not a whole lot of household names in there. Jose Jimenez is a young guy, and he may be the best of this group if he continues to develop the way he has. Kent Merker, the veteran. Darren Oliver used to be with Texas. Donovan Osborne back from injury. But they've all been able to combine to keep the Cardinals at the top of the division. And that's despite the fact that they played most of their games so far this year on the road.
And you see Tony La Russa a little puzzled there, John. Marrero thought it was strike 3, and he and Bottenfield started him into the dugout.
Caught at second by McEwing. So Mondesi is gone. The Dodgers get the 1 on Grzelonic's home run. So Cardinals lead 5-1. We're heading to the 5th inning. Eric Davis will be coming up. Stay with us.
Propecia rising star, Montreal's Mike Barrett. He had a home run, went 2 for 3 against Philly today. He's got 3 home runs now. He drove in 2 runs. He's hit .310, having a great rookie year. But Philly and Montreal was an 8-6 final in favor of Philly.
And there is 25-year-old Jamie Arnold. Spent 6 years in the Atlanta Braves organization as a starting pitcher. Converted into a reliever last year. And signed by the Dodgers as a free agent this past January. Jamie Arnold is on making his second major league appearance. Worked 2 innings scorelessly in his first. He faces Eric Davis to start things off. And there is a good hard sinker. Got a pretty good arm apparently. 0-1. Davis has hit a 2-run homer and he is single to right driving in a run. Chase that slider. Eric Young off the bag. Wow. I guess sometimes we get jaded. We say, well, that's an easy play. But Karras was able to save the play with the tag out of Davis.
Well, you know, that old saying that some guys get positions so messed up no one can play it. It reminds me of Steve Sax' throw right there. When Steve was having problems with the Dodgers.
You're going after Steve Sax?
Yeah, but he's a great guy. I mean, Steve was, that was my buddy.
That was 15 years ago.
Still lingering out there.
Edgar Renteria takes ball 1. Steve Sax, the last I heard, he's a politician.
No, he gave that up. I think he's working in television now.
There's Eric Young, and that is out number 2. And that's the way Steve Sax almost always made his throws.
Yeah, almost always. You're right.
Yeah, come on. There's the panoramic look at Dodger Stadium and Chavez Ravine, and then downtown Los Angeles, courtesy of the Gum Out aerial cam. I love it when we have them with us, Joe.
Yeah. At least they mention us on the air, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah, I heard the Gum Out said John Miller and Joe Morgan.
Okay, all right. Eli Marrero is grounded to short, and he is doubled high off the wall and left. Facing Jamie Arnold, 2-0 the count. Arnold from Dearborn, Michigan. He was a first-round draft choice of the Atlanta Braves in 1992. But it's not all that easy to crack the Atlanta Braves starting rotation. They've got a couple of good ones right now. Odalis Perez and Bruce Chen, though, back in the minor leagues. Perez pitching in the big leagues with it.
There's Edgar Renteria, John. He's from Colombia. And Ramiro Humberger, who works in the Dodger media room, wanted me to say hello to all the people back in Colombia, and so did Edgar Renteria, and especially to Rafael Hernandez back there, well, in Colombia.
So they're watching Sunday Night Baseball?
Yeah, they're watching all the time. He showed me a letter from some guys down there that watch Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. And Edgar Renteria is a big star from Colombia. Helped the Marlins win a world championship a couple of years ago with the Marlins.
Muy buena suerte a todos los fanáticos de béisbol en Colombia.
See.
Caught by Todd Hundley. Marrero is retired. First time the Cardinals have gone down in order. Eric Karras coming up when we come back. Town Los Angeles, not too far from where we are tonight on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers 5-1 back over here at Chavez Ravine as Eric Karras comes to bat against Kent Bottenfield. 5th inning. Karras flied out to right center his first time. Tony La Russa talking about Bottenfield as a starter. Says he's added a couple of pitches to his repertoire to be more capable of getting hitters out more than just one time. He says as a reliever, usually only face hitters one time through the order, and then they get somebody else in there. And he was a fastball slider kind of a guy. Now he throws a changeup and a curveball as well. That's a pretty good looking slider right there, but it missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great control. I think the control is what I'm impressed with tonight, especially. He does not use the middle of the plate.
Jammed him. I mean, it went to the outside around the knees and came right up and in. It sounded like the old Catfish Hunter school of pitching, Joe.
Blowing away high and tight.
Used to say to Catfish, how you going to pitch that guy? Catfish said, I'll probably pitch it just like I pitch everybody else. Down and away and up and in. And that slider is in the dirt for a ball. 2-2. So he started him with a slider. Fastball down and away. Fastball up and in. Slider down and away. Now what? still hadn't gotten him out. That's the thing. I think Karras was supposed to swing at that last one, wasn't he? If that was the plan. 2-2. Goes in. That's a fair ball past third. And overrun by McGee. So Karras eases into second.
Well, he made a mistake. We talked about not using the middle of the plate, John. That one was supposed to be in, I guess, but he got the middle of the plate with that. And up a little bit, and Karras ripped it down the line. Fair. Watch where the pitch is. This was supposed to be down the way. Actually, it's a breaking ball. Now watch where it is, right there. Stays up and in the middle of the plate, and he rips it inside the bag. Tatis no chance to stop that one. And the Dodgers have a leadoff double as McGee bobbled it. He wasn't going to be able to get Karras at second base anyway, but it is a double.
So, Joe Morgan jinxed Ken Bottenfield instead of praising him. And then he puts one right out over the heart of the plate. Karras jumped on it. Here's Devon White. 1-1. That's the curveball.
And a good one at that.
That's by the way, this is the first time in this game the Dodgers have gotten their leadoff man on base to start an inning. I mean, the leadoff man of the inning. It's the ball. 1 strike to Devon White. Dodgers RBI leader, formerly with the Arizona Diamondbacks. White ended up having a pretty good year for Arizona last year.
Excellent year last year.
He ended up being their RBI leader. And another slow curveball, bounced foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
A lot of people were surprised that they didn't re-sign him, and instead they chose to sign Steve Finley. Devon White ended up here with the Dodgers.
Dodger bullpen busy now. Left-hander Onan Masaoka. Left-hander up in the bullpen. Too low on the outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Adrian Beltre is on deck. The Dodgers trail 5-1 to the Cardinals here in the 5th inning. Kent Bottenfield, the unlikely ace for the Cardinals so far. White fouled that one away. Bottenfield kind of muscled up in that fastball. Maybe the hardest one he's thrown tonight.
Well, he can reach back and get it, and with 2 strikes, that's the time to do it in that situation. He wanted to accomplish 2 things. He wanted to strike him out if he could. He wanted to make sure he didn't pull the ball to the right side.
Field all covered in shadows now. Should be much easier for the hitters to see the ball now unencumbered. Shadow's gone. Blooped. Shallow left center. Base hit. Karras had to hold up to make sure that it was not caught, so he is stopped at third base. As Bragg gets the ball back in. Karras at third, White at first on the single, and the Dodgers are in business here in the 5th inning.
And good job by Devon White to battle Bottenfield. And he got a pitch that he could hit, curveball, and flipped it into left center field.
Adrian Beltre now. Beltre is only 21 years old. He is the youngest non-pitcher in the major leagues today. And the day he was born, April 7th, 1978, on that day, Paul Molitor made his major league debut. And on the same day, a great former Cardinal by the name of the Wizard made his major league debut. The day this man was born. Into the hole and through. Karras scores. White will stop at second. Somehow that got through. Edgar Renteria. 3 straight hits for the Dodgers, and it is 5-2 St. Louis.
Well, the reason the ball got through is Renteria was playing for the double play, so he's shading him up the middle, closer to the bag, and he pulls it in the hole. And you can see just can't quite get there. Went off of his tip of his glove. But a good job by Beltre jumping on that first pitch and ripping it in the hole.
Renteria having to recover from injury problems, and they say that he had so little spring training because of the leg injury that he's been having to slowly play his way back into shape as the regular season has been unfolding. He's not quite there yet. Well, here's Todd Hundley. struggling terribly early in the year with the bat, with a chance to tie this game. And the curveball. It is 0-1. He struck out looking his first time. Todd Hundley hitting only 167. I mean, he missed almost all of last year after the elbow surgery. LaRussa placing a call to the bullpen, I'm guessing. Strike the count. Nobody out of this inning. It could be two. Tatis to second one. McEwen to first in the dirt. Dunston can't handle it. White goes to third. Beltre out at second. And Beltre came in real hard, and Joe McEwen there at second base.
Yeah, well, he put a lot of pressure on McEwen. Let's take a look at this. The ball's grounded to third. Curveball down the way. Huntley tries to go that way. Tatis gives him a good throw. He comes across the bag, and he gets hit there by Beltre as he releases the ball. And that's one of the reasons the ball bounced instead of going all the way in the air. He needed to come a little bit further toward third base, and that's why you see LaRussa's out there complaining about the takeout at second base. But what McEwen needed to do there, John, was move just a little bit more toward the throw rather than come toward first base. And I think he could have avoided Beltre. See right there where he is, he's still around the bag. If he comes here and then throws to first base, he would have avoided him. But see, he's still at the bag right there, and he gets hooked as Beltre slid in, and it was a clean slide by Beltre. He could have touched the bag in his slide, so no interference there.
Dave Hansen now, pinch hitting. Hansen's had a great year as a pinch hitter already. 5 for 7 as a pinch hitter. 714 pinch hitting average. In fact, he hasn't played a whole lot, but when he has, he's really hit. He's had 9 at-bats. He's had 3 singles, a double, a triple, and 2 home runs.
Not a bad month's work, huh?
Now, usually I think David Johnson likes this game maybe the 8th or 9th inning, but he's going for it right now to get back in this game. And the curveball misses. 2-0. Bullpen activity with the Cardinals. Busby is up. Right-hander. The Dodgers got 1 in the 4th. They have 1 so far here in the 5th. Threatening to get more. There is White at third. Hundley at first. Dunston on the bag with it. Another big curveball. That one in there for a strike. 2-1. Bottenfield has gotten off to a great start over and over again this year, but he's been a little more hittable the second time through the batting order, and that's been true to form in this game. That should be 2. They get 1 there. McEwen back to first. Double play. That was huge. So Bottenfield minimizes the damage. The Dodgers had visions of a big inning. 5-2, Cardinals. Baseball, the Cardinals 5, the Dodgers 2 as we move to the top of the 6th. The number 55 is Onan Kainoa Satoshi Masaoka, who is from the big island of Hawaii. Joe and I's our favorite place in the world. He's from the rainy side, though, from Hilo. Oh, beautiful, yeah. Hilo. Joe usually likes to go to the Kona side of that island.
Yeah, it's not as much rain.
You're not into rain.
I get enough of that in the Bay Area where I live.
Too many rain delays in Joe's career. So here's Masaoka facing Joe McEwen, who has singled and been walked intentionally.
Masaoka throws the ball pretty well, John, but his real problem is control, and he doesn't have, much of a breaking ball.
He's 21 years old. And he's got that motion that'll drive you nuts. 2-0. He's wearing Oral Hershise's old Dodger number 55. The Dodgers are wearing these patches with numbers of great former Dodgers. Masaoka gets to wear it as his number. 3-0 the count. Of course, the Dodgers have not actually won a postseason game since Oral Hershiser's Cy Young year, 1988. Joe McEwen, Double-A last year, and not playing. Somebody got hurt, and he was given a shot. Mostly as an outfielder. And he hit 354 there, so they moved him up. He hit 350 in AAA. And some of the Russo kept saying this 28th round draft choice was in managers' reports every day. Getting all the highest accolades every day from minor league managers. Now you see what he did. He moved up to AAA and he tailed off. They only hit 334.
That's a pretty big jump from actually being, spending most of your time in AA and then coming to the big leagues this year.
Wow. Well, that's why he's hitting over 400. And this is going to be extra bases. Mondesi, after battling a fan for that ball, holds McEwing to a double. Tony La Russa had some comments about young Joe McEwing. Here's what he said.
Number 37.
He probably has done more key things the early part of the season than any player. And we've had a lot of guys show up big, but this guy's made defensive plays. He's gotten big base hits. He's run the bases. He's played different positions. And the fans will love to see him because he plays every inning like it's the 7th game of the World Series. I mean, he's really delightful.
Well, we know he's a tough guy, Joe, the way he stood his ground there at second base.
Well, I think a lot of that's from inexperience, too, John. You mentioned him being an outfielder in the minor league, so he'll learn.
Bottenfield bunts it foul back behind the plate. He didn't have too many other places that he could have bunted that one. Eric Harris was 10 feet away from him when he bunted it. Looking over at Rene Latchman for the sign here. Runner at second, nobody out. I think he's still bunting, Joe. I'm just going out on a limb.
I think he should.
But hey, Karras, I mean, look where Karras is starting.
Well, you're supposed to bunt it to third base anyway, so bunt it to make Beltre field it. But I agree with you, Karras is getting up tight, but you're supposed to bunt the ball to third base. I guess he's just trying to put it in play.
Foul again.
Anytime you have a runner at second, you bunt it to third, that forces the third baseman to come in and field it, and you'll be able to move the runners up from second base. If you bunt the ball to first base, Karras is going to have a shot at McEwing at third base.
And that being the case, what's Masaoka supposed to be doing?
Well, he's going to charge in straight in, actually, and then move to wherever the ball is.
2 strikes the count. Runner at second, nobody out. Still bunting. And he's out. That goes as a strikeout. Running foul on strike 3.
Center fielder.
Coming up, a big Wednesday night baseball doubleheader, a rematch of the American League Division Series. The Yankees in Texas to take on the Rangers, and El Duque scheduled to go for the Yanks in that one at 7:30 Eastern. Then the Toronto Blue Jays got swept this weekend, but the Yanks cooled off a bit. David Wells will be on the mound here in Southern California to take on the Anaheim Angels. Mo Vaughn, the big Mo, is back. Wednesday night baseball doubleheader on ESPN.
I think I'll drive over and watch that game in Anaheim.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, a little far to go to Texas, but I think I'll go over and watch Mo play.
Another one of those driving tours for Joe. 1 ball to no strikes to Darren Bragg, who was grounded to short, popped to short, and struck out. Masaoka missing high with a fastball. 2-0 the count. Cardinals lead 5-2. We're in the 6th inning. Joe McEwing over there at second base after doubling. McEwing is hitting .418 now for the year. There's only been 1 game this year where he has not reached base safely, one way or the other. Left field, Sheffield. On number 2.
Well, the failure to get the butt down cost Bottenfield an insurance run there.
Well, if he'd gotten him over to third, and if then Bragg had hit that same fly ball, that'd be another run on the board. Bottenfield did get down a sacrifice bunt back in the 2nd inning. 2 down, Sean Dunston now. Dunston, and an infield hit in the 1st that opened the way for a 3-run 1st inning rally for the Cardinals. On another night, it might have just been a one-hopper back to Darren Dryford for an easy out, but he couldn't hold it. And that enabled the Cardinals to keep the inning alive and score 3 times. Just off the outside, ball 1. Cardinals got 2 more runs in the 3rd inning, both coming with 2 down. Eric Davis was driven in 3 runs tonight, singled home 1, and then an error by Darren Dreifort allowed the other one to score. Dreifort lasted only 4 innings, charged with all 5 of the Cardinal runs, 4 earned. Curves him, base hit, and that will get McEwing home.
So the failure to get the butt down doesn't cost him at this point. That was the breaking ball we talked about. It's not a very good breaking ball, and he hung it up there, and Dunston ripped it into center field for a base hit. It's a hanging breaking ball. Dunston has always been more of a hands hitter. He hits with his hands, doesn't use his body as much as hits with his hands, with strong hands.
Now Willie McGee hitting in Mark McGwire's spot. McGwire had some tightness in his hamstring and left the game after running the bases in the first half of the 3rd inning. Also, J.D. Drew left the game. He collided with Dreifort after Dreifort dropped the throw at first base in the 3rd, and he suffered a sprained left thumb. So the Cardinals have a 6-2 lead, but it's been an expensive lead. Lost 2 of their big stars in this one. McGwire doesn't sound like it's going to be serious. There goes Dunston. McGee swings and misses. Dunston steals the base.
And Todd Hundley's asking for some interference because McGee swung and he tried to get out of the way, and Todd is saying that it bothered him. He actually made a pretty good throw there. That ball hit just short. There you see, takes off right away. Throw, and watch McGee. He tries to stay out of the way, but he eventually falls over the plate. Throw is just short.
1 ball, 1 strike to McGee. Base hit could mean another run. Ooh. And does this throw off a guy looking for that release point? I mean, this is an odd motion.
Yeah, well, that's why you find the release point. The release point you find never changes, and you eliminate his motion. You can't watch a guy's motion. You look at your release point and pick the ball up from there. If you watch a motion, you will always be fooled by change-ups and off-speed pitches. But I agree with you. Sometimes it's hard to focus on the release point when a guy gives you a lot of different movements out there.
McGee down on strikes, but another 2-out run for the Cardinals. All of their runs have been knocked in after 2 were down. Top of the order coming up for LA. I wish we had been there, Joe.
Baseball tradition lives in Yankee Stadium. I mean, that is a great place for tradition.
For those kinds of ceremonies, there is no place like Yankee Stadium.
They can trot out the legends for you.
Oh, man, that's for sure. This is Kent Bottenfield now to the top of the Dodger order, last of the 6th, and they can bring out a few legends here at Dodger Stadium as well.
That's true. And down the road in San Francisco, I think. Those are probably those 3 franchises, but then again, St. Louis has some legends too, right?
Absolutely. That's high and tight to a ball. I was there for opening day this year, and there's Lou Brock and Stan. You know, Stan Musial was out there this year.
He wasn't? Now we take a look from mass cam, that fastball up and in to Eric Young.
Stan Musial, he was down in Florida, I think. Maybe he was in Tampa Bay for the opener.
Well, they did something else this year, too, John. They unveiled a statue of Red Shaney. Go outside there with Stan the Man.
3-1 to Young.
And Jack Buck. I mean, but Shaney was one of my favorite players, and with the Cardinals for 50-plus years.
Red was not only an outstanding player, but an outstanding manager for the Cardinals for many years. 3-2 the count to Young. And he is aboard. Almost got a hit by that one. Well, with the Cardinals having a 4-run lead, Young's job was clearly just to get on base, and he did.
Any kind of way. If it meant taking one for the team, take one.
Cardinal bullpen gets busy again. We got a sellout crowd at Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, your Sunday night telecasters. Every Sunday, you'll find us 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Mark Rezolonic is singled and homered. Bottenfield has not found out a way to get him out tonight. And there's the panoramic view of the more than 53,000 here at Dodger Stadium tonight. Quite a sight. I think Bottenfield hurt himself. And then you can see down there the trainer, Barry Weinberg, coming out to have a look at the man who's been the Cardinal ace here in April.
Pointing to his back, on the left side of his back or something. Well, let's take a look at the last delivery and see if we can spot anything. Well, you can see it looked like a very good release, but obviously he hurt himself on the release.
Barry Weinberg and manager Tony La Russa out there, and they...
Well, this guy's 3-0, John. You don't take any chances. Got a long way to go for the season.
So the Cardinals are dropping all around us, even as they lead by 4 runs. It's the 3rd injured Cardinal tonight. We'll be back. Ken Bottenfield very frustrated, having to leave with an injury here in the 6th inning, ahead 6-2. And of course, although he doesn't appear to be real serious, you never know.
Yeah, you never can tell. Anytime you pull a muscle in your back or your hamstring as a pitcher is tough. There's Ricky Bottalico's numbers.
Now this guy throws hard.
But he also a little erratic there. 8 walks and 7 1/3 for 12 punch-outs. But he does throw hard. Yes.
And pretty good movement on that.
Yeah, but that looked a little faster than 90 miles an hour.
The batter is Mark Rezolonic. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. I mean, before he got hurt with the Phillies, this guy threw 98, 99. Missing outside. And 1 to count. He inherited a 1 ball, no strike count. 10th night for the Cards. J.D. Drew sprained his left thumb in a collision at first base. Had to leave the game after the 3rd inning. Actually, during the 3rd inning. That's strike 2 on the outside. 2-2 the count. Mark McGuire left the game in the middle of the 3rd inning with tightness in his hamstring after he scored from second base on a base hit. Now they've lost their starting pitcher. They lost their big home run man, their prize rookie center fielder, and now their ace starter. Strike the 3rd. Tatis the second one. McEwen to first. Double play.
McEwen makes the play there. What he does is he plays like an outfielder at second base there, John. He uses his strong arm to make the double play there. He stands right at the bag. I just hate to see a second baseman do that, because eventually one of those guys is going to get there quick enough to put some pressure on him and maybe hurt him. Watch, he stands right there. He steps in. See, his strong arm makes the play instead of coming across the bag. But he gets the job done, and that's the only thing that's important.
Now, when they get it back home, now they've been on the road most of the season. Red Shanage may go out and have a little session with him on some of the finer points and how to make the play and not get annihilated.
Well, I'm going to make a suggestion. If Red's not there, McEwen call it.
I mean, he's not a big guy.
No, and I agree. I mean, that's the one thing that I always flinch when I watch second baseman, just stay there at the bag.
Gary Sheffield, the hitter. Botanical with a 2-0 count. Now, Sheffield has grinded a second and grinded a short.
And I'm speaking from experience. I have a zipper on my knee from that bag, standing around the bag.
Who did it?
Tommy Agee.
Tommy Agee.
Yeah. Get him on the phone.
Oh, wait a minute. Tommy Agee, he was one of the miracle Mets of 69. Yeah, forget it. You deserved it. You better learn how to get out of there, man.
I did after that.
When was that? What year was that?
Good question. I've actually blocked it out of my memory bank, John. I don't like to think about it.
I think it was the late 40s, wasn't it?
No, John.
3-1. I'm sorry.
It was, let's see, that's a good question, though.
My first good question in 10 years.
68?
All right.
69.
And you had to have surgery?
Yeah, 69.
Yeah. Did one of your guys at Houston take care of AG for you?
For the next 3 days. He got hit 3 times.
Wow, that was a soaring foul right to the very top of Dodger Stadium on the third base side. I mean, it was about 8 miles foul.
Yeah, but it's still pretty nice to see.
That's where we are tonight. A sellout crowd at Dodger Stadium. The hometown 9 is trailing, though, 6-2. 2 down, nobody on in the 6th inning. Oh, struck him out. Good fastball to the outside. So Metallico does a great job. We go to the 7th inning. Fernando Tatis, the Grand Slam man, is coming up. Catches the outside corner for a strike to Fernando Tatis, who has singled off the left field wall, driving in a run. He's grounded out to third, and he has walked. 1 for 2. Masaoka, the third Dodger pitcher of the game. Fastball in there. 0-2. And the reactions of the hitters seem to indicate that it seems a lot quicker from Masaoka than we're getting on the radar gun.
Yeah, well, his motion does help. You know, the ball gets on you a little faster, and if you don't pick it up quite as quickly. And he kind of steps toward first base a little bit and throws across his body, which gives you more of a short arm type of delivery, and that hides the ball a little bit better.
1-2 to Tatis. He's hit 4 homers the last 3 games. High in the air, the shallow right. There's 1 away. Gary Sheffield on the facade outside Dodger Stadium.
Number 24.
And that's the live look from up above on the Gum Out aerial cam. 6-2, the Cardinals leading. Wow, how many aerial cams do we have? There's the look at downtown Los Angeles at sunset. And I mean really sunset, not the street. That's a strike to Eric Davis. He has hit a 2-run homer. He had an RBI single, and he's grounded out. So he's been the big stick tonight for the Cardinals. 3 runs batted in here at home. From Los Angeles. 0-2 the count. San Francisco Giants won again today. They just took 3 out of 4 from the Colorado Rockies and lead the National League West. And Eric Davis is caught looking. Strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Masaoka, and Eric Davis is getting into it with Frank Pulley. A couple of calls in that I think he did not like. That first pitch strike. Definitely did not like that one, and Rene Lackford comes over to try and make sure Eric didn't get kicked out. Well, when the umpire takes his mask off, I think it's time to leave if you want to stay in the game. Well, Eric thought it was inside. But now when Frank takes his mask off, I think it's time to go to the dugout. At least that's what Rene Lashman was trying to do, get Eric to go to the dugout. Well, they're getting a little short of players. I mean,
yeah,
I think
that's what he
afford to get him ejected.
And I really think that's why he ran down there so quickly. I mean, he knew that they were short on players, and he didn't want anything to happen. He was a former manager, so he counts.
Managed the Florida Marlins before that. Managed the Milwaukee Brewers for a while, and also the Seattle Mariners. He's done a lot of former managers.
Yeah, he knows how many players are left.
I mean, they've lost McGuire, they've lost Drew for the rest of the night. And the only real outfielder they've got left on the bench is Ray Lankford. They don't want to use him out there.
Right. Ray's available to pinch hit, and Tony La Russa told me that he's thinking of starting him next Tuesday.
When they get home, there's Ray Lankford. They want Ray to go see the team doctor. Make sure that he's got a fully clean bill of health before they actually put him in the outfield. Grzelcyk throws out Edgar Renteria. 3 up, 3 down. Dodgers have Raul Mondesi and Eric Karras coming up, trailing 6-2. John Miller and Joe Morgan with you on Sunday Night Baseball. The Cardinals 6, the Dodgers 2, and here come the Dodgers into the last of the 7th. Big cut by Raul Mondesi. But he came up empty against Ricky Botalico on in relief of Kent Bottenfield, who had to lead the game with a strain in his left buttock. Medical terminology.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. To Mondesi. Slide out to right center and lined out to second. Hard times for the Dodgers. I mean, they were apparently feeling the pressure. They have not been hitting well with men in scoring position, leaving a lot of runners on. And the pitching has not really been real strong yet, and that should be the backbone of this club. And if they lose this game tonight, their record will fall below 500, and they're going on a tough road trip now. Davey Johnson would like to win this game going out on a 9-game trip back east. They go to Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Montreal before they get back here again.
Well, they had a meeting, as you mentioned earlier, trying to relax the players. And I find it difficult to think that you'd be under that much pressure this early in the season. I mean, the season just started.
But, you know, they start this way every year.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, and there are a lot of people who are slow starters.
But, you know, every year, last year, the year before that, it seems like the same old story. You read quotes from Dodger players, and the quotes always make them sound like they're pressing. You know, we're going to have to step it up. You know, you don't always read so often, hey, it's early yet.
Right.
No big deal. Kevin Brown. Brown has only won 1 game. To see the center field way back there. Bragg all the way back, and this one is gone. Home run, Mondesi. His 7th of the year, and that was to the deepest part of the ballpark.
First baseman, number 23.
Well, he gets a low fastball, and I mean, he drills it to straightaway center field, right near the foul flagpole in center field.
So Mondesi goes deep. The Dodgers have hit 2 home runs tonight. Dodgers have hit 27 home runs this year. This is only their 19th game. They're hitting a lot of home runs, stealing bases. They've stolen 31 bases already.
But the base stealing hasn't been much of a factor simply because they haven't picked the runners up. They'll steal second base, get in the score position, no one picks them up.
I mean, Eric Young is on a pace to steal over 100 bases this year. He's stolen 15 bases. Tonight they're playing their 19th game. But Eric Young has only scored 10 runs. He's been on base all the time. He's stealing bases, getting himself to it. They've only been able to get him home 10 times. Karras pops it up on the slider. This is McEwen. And Karras is retired. He's now 1 for 3. 6-3 the score. The Cardinals ahead. The gum out. Dodgers in-game box score. And you see, Bresolanic, a couple of hits and a home run tonight, but Sheffield has been shut down. Mondesi with his first hit. Karras has a double and a run scored. Devon White and Beltre with singles. But they had a great shot in the 5th inning. They had 3 straight hits to start the inning, but then a force out and a double play ball. End of threat. And getting those base hits when they really count has been a problem for the Dodgers in the early part of the year. They're hitting below 200. As a team, and they're at bats with men in scoring position. Devon White 1 for 2. The Cardinals are hitting over 300 as a team. Over there's a very clear difference right there between the 2 teams. The Cardinals are off to a fast start. The Dodgers struggling. But I think Davey Johnson's point, Joe, is probably would be your point too. I mean, even if they lose this game, 9-10 is not a real slow start. Now, they should call Baltimore and ask the Orioles about what a slow start is.
Yeah, or let's look around the league.
I mean, right. 4-14, now that's a pretty slow start. 2-2. The Dodgers started today only 2.5 back of the Giants in the National League West. The Giants have the best record in the National League. 2-2 the count. Just got a piece of it.
It's a little bit like what Mark McGwire was saying to me before the game, is that the expectations are what makes it seem like they're off to such a bad start. You know, the Dodgers felt when they got Kevin Brown that by now he may be 3-0. They won a couple more ball games and he would be the leader of the staff. Everything would be going great and they would get off to a great start. But it's just, you know, the perception was there, but not the reality.
Chased the high fastball and didn't get it. Second strikeout for Botanico.
Third baseman, number 29.
Well, Botanico has a good high fastball. When you get 2 strikes and you throw it up there, very few hitters are going to be able to make contact with this fastball. That one's up around the letters with some cheese on it. Some high cheese.
Two down, nobody on, and Adrian Beltre wide out and singled home a run. And the curveball misses.
That's one thing that Botanico has done well this inning. After the home run to Mondesi, he mixed in some breaking balls to both Karros and Devon White.
Foul ball. 53,857 is the paid attendance tonight. Another sellout. Back-to-back sellouts for the Dodgers for the first time in nearly 2 years. Scott Radinsky, the guy I think the Dodgers miss. He's in the Cardinal bullpen now. Another curveball too high. 2-1. The Dodgers have some lefties in their bullpen. There's one of them, Pedro Borbon, is trying to come back from injury. Missed a lot of time.
He's been throwing the ball well, though. They're very pleased with what they've seen so far.
Back out of play. See, last year they had Radinsky, Mark Guthrie, a couple of veterans in the bullpen as lefties. This year we're seeing one tonight. Onan Masaoka, Pedro Borbon. And right now, David Johnson said they're really hurting from the right side of the bullpen. Alan Mills, their veteran, has had his shoulder hurting lately. On the run, making the catch. What a play by Darren Bragg. Wow. Not just getting there and catching it, but squeezing it as he hit the ground. Tough to make a better one. 6-3 Cardinals. Sunday Night Baseball from Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers 6-3 as we start the 8th inning. Eli Marrero will be followed by Joe McEwing in the pitcher's spot. Marrero is 1 for 3. He's grounded out, doubled, and fouled out. Masaoka has given up 1 run in 2 innings since he came on in relief of Arnold. But disappointing for the Dodgers again tonight. A short outing by a starting pitcher. One is the twilight of the foul on the third base side.
Well, a lot of that was caused by lack of defense. He made poor plays in the field. That's really been their problem the entire season, making mistakes and then not being able to pick each other up. He made a couple of errors and it cost him 5 runs.
And one was called an error and one wasn't.
Yeah.
2-2 the count. Darren Dreifort still out there in the dugout rooting his teammates on. I like to see that personally.
I do too. I think it's, well, you're part of the team and you want guys to be out there rooting for you.
Knocked up. Coming back Huntley. A lot of room here. Huntley drops it. Dropped it twice.
And when things are going poorly for you, that happens. I mean, he had a long run to make, you know, in a normal ballpark. There's not that much room. That ball would have been in the stands, but he had a long way to go. He finally got there. And he's made this play once earlier in the ball game. He does everything right, except he hits right in the middle of the glove and bounces out. He uses 2 hands. He tries to cradle it. But when things are going badly for you, that's what happens.
Low slider, bounce foul by Marrero. That'll be scored as an error against Hundley. That's 3 errors for the Dodgers tonight. And they've now made 18 errors this year in their 19 games. Remember, they did not make any errors at all the first 5 games of the season.
Right. Well, they were 5-1 after the first 6 games, so that's one of the reasons.
Marrero hit that one hard. But he's thrown out by Gresolano. Cardinals lead 6-3 in the 8th inning. Here's the gum out in-game box for the Cardinals. Sean Dunston in an igniter for them. Willie McGee, remember, replaced Mark McGuire. McGuire went 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Fernando Tatis, no grand slams tonight, although he nearly hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. But the big night for Eric Davis, 2 for 4, a homer, 3 runs batted in. And Joe McEwing, 2 for 2 with a walk. He is hitting .418 now. Came in as the 3rd leading hitter in the league. Tony Gwynn, .439 average at the start of the day. So, moving up the list tonight.
Ray Langford's out on deck, John.
Here's Langford. Langford coming back from a knee injury. Last night he hit a pinch hit double, looping one down the left field line, and he had to leg it out, and he had no problems whatsoever. That one got into the Cardinal dugout in a hurry, right where the brain trust usually assembles.
Well, they had planned on starting him on Tuesday, but now that LaRussa's J.D. Drew has been injured, you may see Ray Langford start maybe even tomorrow.
I mean, or Tuesday.
Tuesday, they're off tomorrow, so he was going to play Tuesday anyway, so it doesn't change anything.
Well, I mean, J.D. Drew did not look good what we saw on his hand. He sprained his left thumb, and he had some big apparatus on it. That's technical talk.
Yeah, I know. That's
medical talk.
I just let that one go.
Well, what would you call it? What did he have on it?
A walking cast.
Okay, there you go.
So that's what Mo Vaughn had on. He wrapped it, immobilized the thumb.
2-2 the count to McEwing. Mo Vaughn, the first time he swung the bat coming back from his injury, was in Toronto, and he hit one about 800 feet.
Yeah,
hit it off the window of the restaurant in center field at the Sky Dome. Just in case they were wondering if Mo was getting back a little too soon. The first time he swung the bat on Thursday night, I mean, he launched an incredible home run. 3-2 now to McEwing. 1 out, nobody on. 8th inning. It's foul. Joe McEwing. Dodger Stadium, which opened in 1962. And I mean, all these many years, people have always said this, and it's still true. When you walk in here, it looks like it just opened. And McEwing is down on strikes. Good work by Masaoka, striking out one of the hottest hitters in the league. Well, we mentioned the Cardinals have been getting hurt tonight. Mark McGuire went down, and then J.D. Drew colliding with Darren Dreiford, spraining the thumb. McGuire, who had that hamstring problem earlier this week, and it tightened up on him as he scored from second on that ball. And then later, Kent Bottenfield, I believe, throwing a pitch to Mark Gresolano in the 6th inning. They've had 3 men go down. Here's Ray Langford. Fastball to strike. I mean, this guy has become just an outstanding player. You see, last season, 31 homers, 105 runs batted in, and 26 steals, and he still plays a great center field.
When he's healthy, I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. I mean, he's got good power. He drives the ball to all fields, and he runs well. That's the important thing. He runs really well.
It's hard to short Gresolano. He played a tough hop and got it. We're going to the last of the 8th inning. Todd Hundley coming up. 6-3 Cardinals. 6-3 the Cardinals lead the Dodgers. We go to the last of the 8th inning. Mark McGuire left early with a hamstring problem. Cardinals, all 6 of their runs tonight have scored after 2 men were out. Darren Dreifert, an early exit, but Raul Mondesi did go deep. One of 2 Dodgers home runs in the game. That's the General Motors GM game summary up till now. There is Scott Radinsky now, the former Dodger. I mean, this guy had some good years here for the Dodgers.
Yes. He threw really hard when he was younger with the White Sox.
Well, as did we all. Although not necessarily with the White Sox. Scott Radinsky. And that's strike 1. Todd Hundley has only had 7 at-bats batting right-handed, and he is hitless from the right side. Even when he was hitting his 40 homers, 30 homers, he was always a much better hitter batting left-handed. You know, Joe, there are so very few left-handed starting pitchers in baseball now. I mean, it's real difficult for a switch hitter to get any kind of at-bats at all against lefties enough to stay sharp.
Right. It's definitely a right-handed starter's league, especially in the National League.
I think they're all. Peter Gammons last week had a note that there were only 14 left-handed starters in the whole National League. Only 21 in the other league, and I may have that backwards, but only 35 in the 2 leagues combined. Eric Davis. Ball hit pretty well, though, by Hundley. And there is 1 away. Saturday, ABC Sports presents the Visa Triple Crown Challenge, the Kentucky Derby. It's the 125th run for the Roses at Churchill Downs. Trainer Bob Baffert is bidding to become the first trainer in history to saddle 3 consecutive Kentucky Derby winners. Real Quiet in '98 and Silver Charm in '97. This year in the Derby, he's got the General Challenge and Prime Timber. The Kentucky Derby on ABC, 4:30 Eastern on ABC. Pinch hitter now, Jacob Brumfield batting for Onan Masaoka. He takes the ball. The Derby, Joe.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Never been there.
You know, they always have it in the baseball season.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to go one of these days.
When?
I was invited a couple of times, and it's on a Saturday, so I can go and then still meet you in time for the Sunday game.
No, I want you doing your homework at that time. It's a long run. And Davis got there, but couldn't hold on to it as he slipped. Running hard all the way, Brumfield, and he easily makes it to third base. Yeah, Eric Davis ran about 6 miles for that one, got to it, and started to slip.
Eric Davis was a great center fielder in his day, so very good outfielder. And you can see he goes a long way, as you mentioned. And watch when he gets there, he tries to slow down, and it hits off of his glove. Feet goes out from under him, and Brumfield, he just hustles around the third base.
Well, we're getting the Dodgers with the runner Brumfield at third, and Dave Duncan has already signaled to the bullpen. Juan Acevedo, the closer, is going to come on in relief of Radinsky. We'll be right back. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Gum Out. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers 6-3. Last of the 8th inning, the Dodgers still with visions of a dramatic comeback. A triple by Jacob Brumfield. That's the way they scored it. I think that was a good call. Has brought Juan Acevedo, the Cardinals closer, in from the bullpen. And a rather early call. They got a day off tomorrow. And Verussa said, let's go for it now. The top of the order coming up. Brumfield over at third base, talking with Rick Dempsey, the Denver. He was a World Series hero here with the Dodgers in 1988, and a longtime catcher for the Baltimore Orioles.
He was an Orioles hero in 1983.
He was the MVP of the World Series in '83. Not Eddie Murray, not Cal Ripken, not Ken Singleton, but Rick Dempsey. Back here in L.A. as the third base coach under manager Davey Johnson. Himself a former Oriole. Of course, the general manager of the Dodgers, Kevin Malone, former Orioles assistant general manager. It's the current Orioles who are having the trouble. 4-14. There's Kevin Malone, the Dodger GM. Not in exactly a mood to gloat right now as the club is trailing, and they have been stumbling here in the early part of the season. Eric Young, the leadoff man. That'll get a run home. Cardinals were willing to give up the run to get the out. The infield staying back. The Dodgers, for the season as a team, have hit .201 in their at-bats and in scoring position, either runners at second or third or both. That's not too good.
You're not going to win a lot of ball games that way. You're not going to score a lot of runs. Put a lot of pressure on your pitching staff.
Nearly half of their total of runs for the year have been on home runs. So they've really had a hard time scoring runs when they have not hit homers. Speaking of which, this guy's hit one tonight, Mark Bresolani. He is 2 for 3. Acevedo can bring it. I sound into that baseball talk now.
Yeah.
That was the high cheese.
That was.
Had a little giddy up on that fastball. 0-1 the count. Too low. To be stuck on 96 miles an hour with that fastball, and that's not a bad speed. Acevedo became the Cardinal closer late last year. Did just a great job. He was sort of there because of attrition. They did so well at it. They just gave him the job outright during the winter. Nice pitch over the outside. Now it's 1-2. Now Bresolani, this is a big at bat. If he gets on, Gary Sheffield comes up and where a home run would tie it, and Sheffield can do it. And this guy can turn around a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, Gary Sheffield. The Dodgers like to see him bat in this inning. Tries to slide it, missed very badly with it. 2-2. 2 down, bases empty, a run in. Cardinals lead 6-4. Three and 2.
Well, that's what Davey Johnson's hoping for, to be able to get the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning.
Full count. That is a base hit, and Sheffield will come up with a chance to tie the game.
Good job by Bresolani to get on base, keep the inning going. He took that fastball, just lined it into right center field. Didn't try to do too much with it. And these are the battles that you look for during the season. One-on-one here. Acevedo, good fastball against a good fastball hitter. Lifetime, he is 0 for 2 against Acevedo.
Sheffield's got 5 home runs this year. And he's always had one of the quickest bats in the game. So here we go. Oh, look out.
Dead hit it.
Yeah, look at that, Joe. He called time before the pitch was thrown.
Yeah, because he said no play.
But it's a little late to be calling a timeout. I'm glad Sheffield didn't hit the home run there, because it wouldn't have counted. We'll try it again. Oh, doing a slow curveball and did not get the call on it.
Well, if you're Gary Sheffield, I know he was sitting dead red there. He wasn't looking for that curveball. You'll give it to him if he would have thrown it for a strike anyway on the first pitch.
And I think he got a break, though, because it could have been 0-1. Not a bad-looking pitch. Now you got another guy up next. If Sheffield gets aboard here, the next guy is well capable of putting the Dodgers ahead. And he's hit one tonight already. A homer his last time up. The Dodgers have their big guys up there, trailing 6-4 in the 8th inning. Tony La Russa, Davey Johnson. Each of them has won division titles managing 3 different teams. Davey Johnson with the Mets. Also with the Reds and the Orioles. La Russa, of course, with the White Sox. All the way back in '83. Great success in Oakland. He won a division with the Cardinals.
Now, what do you do here if you're Davey Johnson? Do you turn him loose? I say yes, because I've known, Davey Johnson was a hitter.
Absolutely. Opening day, 3-0, 9th inning. Raul Mondesi got the green light. Boom, he tied it up. Boom, that's ball 4. That was awfully close. So now Mondesi with a chance to put the Dodgers ahead.
Mondesi is 0 for 7 against Acevedo.
The other thing is, I mean, at Dodger Stadium, this vast, expansive outfield, especially in the corners. I mean, and Sheffield runs real well. If he hit one down the line or into the alleyway, Sheffield could score the tying run on just an extra base hit.
Well, the Cardinals outfielders are very deep. They're playing almost to the warning track. They're going to keep the ball in front of them, which is the proper play.
I mean, Willie McGee is at the warning track in left field.
And the center fielder, Baron Bragg, is not far from there's Willie McGee. Oh, he's backing up some more.
I mean, you'll never see an outfielder play deeper than that. There's Bragg in center field, which is where Mondesi hit a home run his last time. 2 men on, 2 men out, 8th inning. The knees called a strike. Well, Mondesi was on deck watching that same pitch called a ball a moment ago.
Well, not only that, he's being patient like you want him to be.
Key to success. Bresolana at second. Sheffield, the possible tying run at first base. 2 down. 2 low that time. Very patient.
Yeah. The first pitch looked like the one that he hit out the last time.
Yeah, he usually hits that one pretty well, as I recall. But he's 0 for 7 against Acevedo. As you pointed out.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to get to a hitter's count.
Well, he's getting there. 2 balls and a strike. Acevedo needs a strike now. He cannot afford to load the bases and put the tying run in scoring position. Another RBI man is on deck, Eric Karras. And Karras has hit well against Acevedo. Big pitch here. 2-1 to the dangerous Mondesi. He's got 7 home runs this year, including 1 tonight. Well, he was late on that fastball.
I'll tell you what, Acevedo is showing me something. He's going right after him. 2-1. He just tried to get the fastball towards the outside corner with some movement.
There's Bresolana with 2 down. He singled. And then Sheffield walked. They're both ready to run at the crack of the bat with 2 down in the 8th inning. And Sheffield, remember, is the possible tying run. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mondesi. He jammed him with a fastball. And that is a fair ball. And Tatis decided that maybe they needed 4 outs in this inning. Just the 1 at third was enough, Fernando. Save it. Going to the 9th, 6-4 Cardinals. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Everything all right back there?
Everything's fine.
Now, next week, I mean, we had so much fun here at Dodge Stadium tonight. We wanted to see some more big superstars. And what better place to be than Texas, where we get Juan Gonzalez, Ivan Rodriguez, and those Rafael Palmeiro, the big stars with Texas, and the Cleveland Indians. I mean, now that club's got some offense.
Well, the whole Cleveland team is an offensive-minded team. But I think the big key for them is the addition of Roberto Alomar at second base. I think that really rounds their team out, especially keeps those left-handed pitchers off of their backs.
Man, I'm anxious to see Alomar and Omar Vizquel around the bag at second. 2 magicians out there. Juan Gonzalez, the Texas Rangers, taking on Jim Thome Roberto Alomar, Sandy Alomar, and all those big sluggers. Manny Ramirez. I mean, Cleveland, the last time I looked, they hit about 325 as a team.
And they're not even hot yet.
It's like the old days in the 30s, Joe. They used to say, man, in my day, if you didn't hit 320, they sent you out to the minor leagues. That's the way it is with Cleveland. There's Pedro Borbon on to pitch now. See, that's a familiar-sounding name, isn't it?
Yeah, he was his father. Pedro Sr. was a teammate of mine in Cincinnati, and he became a setup man for Clay Carroll and Raleigh Eastwick there in Cincinnati. And Junior was a setup man for Mark Wohlers, and well, you know, Wohlers wasn't there when they were in the World Series, was he? Yeah, against Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was setup man for Wohlers.
Pedro Borbon, he is trying to come back from some serious injuries as he faces Darren Bragg. Bragg 0 for 4 in this game. He's got to be wondering, man, I need a hit, and every time I come up in the late innings, there's a tough lefty out there. Maso Kid did a pretty good job while he was in there. Borbon slinging the ball in there. Now, he used to throw real hard before he got hurt.
He's up around 88 on that fastball.
The breaking ball, pop fly, and Mondesi calls off Young. 0 for 5 for Darren Bragg. He did make the most spectacular defensive play of the night. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 53,857, the paid crowd at Dodger Stadium, and some of the folks have headed out to catch the final couple of innings on Sunday Night Baseball.
Exactly.
Sean Dunston. We heard many people as they were leaving saying, let's get home so we can see John and Joe wrap this baby up. 1 ball and no strikes to Sean Dunston. Dunston got that infield single in the first. That kind of turned the game around. A would-be 1-2-3 inning turned into a 3-run rally for the Cardinals when Dryford couldn't handle the ball. Young's got it. Dunston 2 for 5 in the game. 2 down in the 9th. And then Willie McGee will come up in Mark McGuire's spot. Don't forget, right after the ball game, stay tuned. Sports Center coming up with Kenny Mayne and Dan Patrick. And some John Elway news. We'll see. Joe DiMaggio honored today at Yankee Stadium. And a Sunday conversation with Jose Canseco, who's, man, he has been something. 10 home runs now for his new club, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Willie McGee 1 for 2 since he came on for McGuire, who had tightness in his left hamstring and left the game after running the bases in the 3rd inning.
John, you were speaking of Canseco. I played golf with him like 3 days before spring training started, and I mean, he was fit, both physically and mentally. He was really preparing for the season. He was looking forward to playing there for the Devil Rays. So everything has come together for him so far this season.
Yeah, well, he has out-homered his fellow Bash brother by 10-5 early on this year. Of course, he hit 46 last year for Toronto. And I was pleased to see the noted Murray Chance's column in the New York Times today. You see Canseco, I mean, leading the majors in homers and hitting .286. And we know he can still steal a base. He stole 29 of them last year. Gord Ash gave Canseco a lot of credit for the breakthrough years that some of the young Blue Jay hitters had last year. Guys like Sean Green, Shannon Stewart. And he said these guys, you know, they played together and come up through the organization, but having a big star like Canseco around, kind of reinforcing that they really were guys who could play at this level. And Green had the big year last year. And Stewart stole all those bases.
Well, I didn't read Murray's column, but I read Peter Pasquarelli's column, and he said Sean Green was giving him the same amount of credit, the same way like Gordon was. So Canseco did a great job there, not only with the bat, but with his, you know, help with the young players off the field as well.
Willie McGee draws the walk against Pedro Borbon. And Davy Johnson's coming out with Fernando Tatis coming up.
He's already made the call.
Alan Mills warming up in the bullpen. So Alan Mills, who's not pitched in about a week with a bad shoulder, will come on here to face the one man, and we'll be right back.
It's show.
Veteran right-hander Alan Mills off to a fine start for his new club, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the former Baltimore Orioles. And the Orioles look like they're missing him in their bullpen today. They had a 10-6 lead in the 8th inning, and they lost the game 11-10 to the Oakland Athletics. Tony Phillips hit a 3-run homer against Mike Timlin in the 9th inning to win that one for Oakland. And you see Mills' numbers. And his shoulder's been giving him some trouble. Davy Johnson had not wanted to use him tonight, but he was going to have him do some work on the side. He said, just if I need maybe one right-handed batter to be retired, maybe I'll bring him in. And he needs the one here with 2 down in the 9th, and it is Fernando Tatis. He's singled off the left field wall, rounded out, walked, and flied to shallow right. The man who hit 2 grand slams in the same inning Friday night right here. Mark McGwire said you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than that happened. There's ball 1. Tatis is from the Dominican Republic. When he got back to the hotel after the game, the phone started ringing with family and friends from the Dominican. And it rang all through the night and all through Saturday before he came out here. Hit the 2 grand slams against John Hall Park. He figured everybody in the Dominican must have been watching that game because they all called it. 2-0 the count.
Well, Mills throwing everything up. And again, you mentioned he hasn't pitched for a while, so his rhythm could be off a little bit.
You know, Joe, only 4 teams in this century have had 2 grand slams in an inning. And one of them was your team. You weren't one of the guys who hit it.
I'd remember if I was one of the guys.
You must have been one of the guys on base.
Yeah.
1969, the Houston Astros were the only other National League team besides now the Cardinals to hit 2 grand slams in the same inning. Jim Wynn hit one, 1969.
That figures that he would.
And Dennis Menke.
Okay.
Not you, though.
No.
I don't think you ever had any bats with the bases loaded. McGee running, and Huntley. Now that was not a good throw. And McGee easily will make it to third on the error. That's the 4th error for the Dodgers.
Well, let's take a look at Huntley. They say it's his mechanics that are off. The throw is wide and behind Willie McGee. I'm trying to just take a look at. Well, he does. You know, he stayed in that crouch a long time, and then he straightened up and made the throw. Most of the time, I remember watching Johnny Bench. Some of the guys, they'd start out of the crouch towards the ball. So it could be the fact that he hasn't played for a year and a half that's really bothering him.
3-1. 3-2. Tatis, of course, also set the record for most RBIs in one inning by a single player. The record had been 6. 2 members of the Giants had done it in the National League. Fred Merkle, 1911, and Jim Ray Hart, 1970, drove in 6 in the same inning. Of course, they're all now out of the record books because Tatis drove in 8 in the same inning. I mean, the people around here, I mean, Tony La Russa, Davy Johnson, to see a guy hit 2 grand slams in the same inning, I mean, they just say, hey, it's just too ridiculous even to think that it would ever happen. When he hit the second one, although he was sure when he hit the first one, the second one he wasn't so sure, so he said, I have to fly. And he was running hard. He didn't see it land. Slider misses, and Tatis gets the walk. And that will give Eric Davis another shot at it. 3 RBIs in this game for Eric Davis already. Stay tuned now. SportsCenter coming up next. With all of the days goings on in Major League Baseball. And a lot of great action today. And that John Elway comebacks feature. Not really news, sort of old news, but a feature about, because Elway, many think, is going to announce his retirement tomorrow. He's called a press conference. And there'll be a little retrospective the truly remarkable ability Elway had late in games to engineer comebacks. Center field. Devon White. Last chance now for the Dodgers. 6-4 St. Louis. It will be Eric Karras coming up, then Devon White and Adrian Beltre. Last chance for the Dodgers. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The Dodgers trailing 6-4 in the rubber match of this 3-game series with the Cardinals right at the end of this homestand for L.A. They go out on a 9-game road trip after this. The Cardinals, who've been out, this is the 11th game of a 4-city road trip for them. They're going home for just 3 before they go on the road again. And there's Juan Acevedo trying to send them home happy. If they win this game, they'll finish this trip 8-3. Acevedo, not leaving anything for granted, is invoking the blessing of the Almighty there, just in case. He got through a tough spot there in the 8th inning. Raul Mondesi ended up grounding out to third as he had a chance to put the Dodgers ahead. Now Eric Karras comes up. At least he's got a little maneuvering room here. Karras cannot tie him with a home run. Devon White, who's also been the Dodgers RBI leader so far this year, on deck. That's a strike. Throwing the heat.
Acevedo not only throws hard, John, but he's got good movement on his fastball.
Too far in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers in their 12th home date of the year. So they played most of their games early on here at Dodger Stadium. That's foul off the first base side. Into the second deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The second sellout here. I mean, these 3 games had about 154,000 in paid admissions at Dodger Stadium. Now, how about San Diego? They had 61,000 again last night for a ball game down there at Qualcomm Stadium. Ooh. Man, that was awfully close. I don't know how Karras could take that one.
Well, I do. He couldn't hit it. If you can't hit it, you might as well take it and hope that it's a ball. And it is a breaking ball just off the plate outside. And you could see Frank Pulley said no.
2-2. Came right back after him. It's the fastball.
You don't always take a pitch because you think it's a ball. Sometimes you take it because you can't hit it.
2-2 to Acevedo. Next Sunday we'll be in Texas, the ballpark in Arlington, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. 2 Hawaiian. Karras fights another one off, so Acevedo not able to put him away.
Nice catch there by a young fella up in the upper deck, John. He had his glove and one-hand grab.
He brought his glove and he caught that ball. It could change his life, Joe. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's not too excited. Yeah, me, I caught it. Yeah, I know, crazy, isn't it? I never do it. I can't believe it.
Take it to school tomorrow.
Life is good. I'm so glad I came. Dad said, let's go. And I said, no, the game's not over. Let's go. He wanted to leave. Ooh. Oh, that's strike 3 call.
Well, see, he took that one and walked away because he just didn't think that he was going to go away with him again, and he threw it on the outside corner. Perfect pitch.
Number 22.
Watch this pitch. See where the catcher's set up? Fastball right out there on the outside corner.
1 down, Devon White. Grounded out, singled, and struck out. They're in at the corners because of the speed of Devon White. 1 ball, no strikes. Tatis very shallow at third, and Sean Dunston pulled in at first. Sports Center comes up right after the game. Stay tuned. Wow, what a pickup by Renteria. 1 hop to Sean Dunston, and another fine pickup. Now that looked like it happened at about twice normal speed.
That's a great play by Renteria just to smother this ball. It was a line drive in front of him to watch. There, all you can do is just try to smother it. See him, that's all he does. This is a great play, though. He stayed down on it. And then he almost messed it up. He took his time. You see him panic there because he threw it in the dirt, but good job by Sean Dunston at first base to pick him up.
Sean Dunston. Well, Sean played it just like he was still a shortstop playing a ground ball. 2 down, nobody on. Beltre, strike 1. Well, Joe, the Dodgers are heading out on the road now, and they're not, it looks like, heading out the way they wanted to do. They're going to be below 500 3 weeks into the year.
I think the key is for them to just keep themselves together, not worry about pressure, not worry about the fact that they're under 500. Just try to get the team organized so that they're playing good defense, getting good pitching, and concentrate a little bit harder with runners in scoring position. Don't press, but concentrate a little bit harder.
2-1 the count to Beltre. Darren Dryford. They continue to have some problems with their starters. It seems to be a great strength and probably will end up being, but right now the starting pitching has been very shaky. Dryford got knocked out after only 4 tonight. Three and 1. Todd Hundley is on deck, so if Beltre can get aboard, Hundley would have a chance to tie it up. And he'd like to get that chance. And a tough night for Todd. 2 errors made. 3 and 1. 3 and 2.
Good job there by Beltre to take that pitch. I think, a lot of hitters would attack that ball 3 and 1, but he was trying to get on base, doing the right thing. Make him throw one more strike.
Davey Johnson. Like to see Beltre get aboard somehow to take that one last shot with Hundley. He struck him out. A good low fastball. And Acevedo has wrapped up a great road trip with the Cardinals. 4 cities, their toughest trip of the year. They went 8-3, and Kent Bottenfield wins it. He is 4-0. Dryford's first loss. Acevedo with the save. Final score is 6-4. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball. Stay tuned now for SportsCenter coming up next. John Miller for Joe Morgan. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the telecast. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com.